Bridge, Adam?
Yeah, Amanda, the Utah Olympic Foundation is specifically looking for technical volunteers to start coming forward.
A range technical volunteer where you learn about the shooting and all of that, but then there's speed skating where you're going to be a corner judge or timing or a lap counter.
Event manager of the foundation, Mary Reiser, tells KSL TV they don't know for sure how many volunteers we're going to need for 34, but she expects it'll be in the thousands.
We couldn't host these events. We couldn't do it without volunteers.
Make sure you do it. It's so worth it.
Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Utah's being represented well at the Paris Games. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more about our athletes. Michael.
Tim, nearly 40 athletes with connections to the Beehive State will be competing in the City of Lights, and they're participating across a variety of events. If you're watching the time-honored track and field events, you'll see university athletes or alumni like BYU's James Corrigan, Utah's Josephine Erickson, or Utah State's Chari Hawkins on the track. Matter of fact, runners from all over Utah will be seen there too, from Smithfield's Connor Mance to Whitney Orton Morgan for Panguitch. And as for some of the more modern events, Park City's Haley Batten is in mountain biking, Heber's Car Kirele is spiking the volleyball, and 5 different people from Salt Lake City will be scaling it in sport climbing. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
We are learning more this morning about the Olympic doping investigation involving Chinese swimmers that was brought up by the International Olympic Committee before they voted to give Salt Lake City the 2034 Winter Games. USA Today columnist Christine Brennan is criticizing Utah leaders who agreed to give the Olympic Committee the final word in any doping investigation.
I cannot believe that Salt Lake officials and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee didn't just say no. Now, what's going to end up happening here, I believe, is that it will be a rude awakening because I cannot imagine Congress taking too kindly to what the U.S. Olympic Committee and the Salt Lake officials just did.
Brendan says the FBI's investigation into the Chinese swimmers in the 2020 Games will now be dropped.
For those of you not up early yesterday morning, Utah's delegation and Governor Spencer Cox focused on unity and bringing people together.
There's a great author, somebody I admire, who recently wrote that unity is not agreeing. Unity is not believing the same things. Unity is acting together. And that's what the Olympics allows us to do. It allows us to act together in competition, bringing out the very best in all of us.
The 2002 Olympic Games were held a few months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and the Games demonstrated that the world could come together. We have a lot more coverage of the Paris Games and the upcoming 2034 Games on our website at kslnewsradio.com.
KSL's top national stories. This hour, President Joe Biden says it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of leaders. Here is ABC's Lionel Moise.
In an Oval Office address,
it's been the honor of my life to serve as your president.
President Biden explaining his historic decision to withdraw from the presidential race.
Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition.
Biden praising his vice president, likely Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris.
She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable.
Without naming him directly, Biden seemed to take a jab at former President Trump.
Kings and dictators do not rule. The people do.
President Biden says he will spend the final 6 months of his term finishing the job he started. First look traffic now, and we go back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, we start off with just one crash. It's on I-80 heading west just before you get to Lake Point. I do see some flashing lights, but I don't see any delay out in that area. It's going to be interesting to see just how much traffic we have on the roads today. But so far, other than that one spot, it's pretty light on our freeways. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
We are awaiting an update this morning on the conditions of a pilot and passenger of a small plane that crashed into a Roy neighborhood on Pioneer Day. Here's KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Pilot and passenger of a plane that crashed dangerously close to a house near 4500 South, 2350 West in Roy, shortly before 4 on Wednesday, are being treated for head injuries. KSL 5 reports there were no known significant injuries on the ground, but homeowner Anthony Bowles says they were lucky no family members were in direct path of that crash. He wasn't at home at the time, but other family members were.
We're definitely, I don't know how many people out there are religious, but a lot of people here were blessed today.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
All eyes are on the stock market after yesterday's big drop.
Big tech led the sell-off, which ended with the worst day for Wall Street since 2022. The NASDAQ was hit the hardest, falling more than 3%.
I think this is the typical volatility that we're used to seeing. We haven't seen much of it this year.
Art Hogan, chief market strategist at B. Riley Wealth, isn't worried.
I think the fundamentals behind the economy and the market likely will provide for a recovery here.
And he thinks the Federal Reserve will cut rates come September. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
A new report says that Utah has the highest number of stay-at-home parents in the country.
Having one parent stay home to care for kids has a lot of benefits, but LendingTree.com says the main driver here is financial, according to a new census survey. Childcare has just gotten too expensive, and it makes more sense for one parent to leave the workforce. But there are ripple effects. Hooper mom Cami Anderson's husband took several years off of work.
When he went back to work, it was almost difficult to find a job there for a minute. And he's a plumber. Like, they're all hiring. But everyone would look at his resume and be like, what the heck? Why were you not working for the last 5 years?
With more families in Utah living on a single income compared to the rest of the U.S., and with prices continuing to soar, many families here are in precarious situations. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
A group of Boy Scouts returning from a camping trip used their newly learned skills after someone on their flight needed help. They assisted 3 doctors and a nurse trying to save a person in need of CPR.
16-year-old Ariel hopped up, so did 17-year-old Moshe Grimaldi.
We need to form a CPR line quickly.
The scouts helping to perform CPR for over 40 minutes, trying to get a pulse until the plane could make an emergency landing in Pittsburgh, at which time the flight attendant asked them to take their seats.
One of the doctors, in the calmest of voices, says, if we do that, this patient will die for sure.
The scouts kept going until the end of the flight.
As we're sort of getting close to landing, they detect a pulse.
Wow. ABC's Lionel Moise reporting.
Yeah, pretty dramatic stuff. So far, nothing really to slow you down in any direction. We'll see if it stays that way with a check of your traffic and weather together just ahead.
Reliability, steadiness, trusted voices.
I'll listen to KSL in the morning. I use it to find my weather, to find my traffic. When you ask me what news is, I think of KSL first.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
When it comes to my lifestyle and diet, I don't always make the smartest choices.
Touchdown! Woo! Hey, how about another round and some more chips?
But when it comes to taking care of my liver, I do make one very smart choice. Active liver tablets from New Nordic. I used to have real issues with my liver, and at my last checkup, my doc was concerned about my numbers. But since adding a once-a-day active liver tablet, my gut's better, I feel great, and my doctor's happy. I ask a lot of my liver, so the least I can do to say thanks is a daily dose of Active Liver.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. You can find Active Liver at Amazon.com or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. Or for a volume discount, visit NewNordicUSA.com. Go to new, NORDICUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS.
We were talking just a moment ago about the number of athletes, Amanda, that are representing not just the U.S., but specifically Utah in these games. There are 600 athletes that are here from the U.S. for 2024 Paris, and that would be the largest delegation competing in these games tomorrow, which is kind of interesting. We'll have more for you live from Paris today, but let's find out how your drive is shaping up first thing this morning. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Sounds like we're off to a great start, Andy.
That's what it's looking like in Salt Lake County so far. Tim, I-15, no slowdowns, not even a lot of traffic on the road yet. Even road work around State Street going up through Sandy and towards 90th South and up into Midvale. Not causing much in the way of trouble. We've got some lane restrictions here and there, but no real delays yet. Heather?
We're also looking pretty good through Weber and Davis counties. No accidents reported on city streets or major freeways. No delays getting into Hill Air Force Base at any of the gates, and the few cars out and about are at freeway speeds. Eric? We do have a crash out on westbound I-80 in Twila County. This is right near Lake Point. The left lane and shoulder are blocked. Unfortunately, it's another car versus elk that we'd had earlier in the week as well. So the left lane and shoulder are blocked right now, but down in Utah County, we are traveling at speed from Spanish Fork to the point of the mountain. This is the Place Heritage Park, your family place for summer fun. Celebrate Utah history all month with tons of patriotic activities, food, concerts, shops, and more. Visit thisistheplace.org. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
95 today with afternoon sunshine giving way to evening thunderstorms. Overnight we'll go 73 with a clash of thunder possible in the early overnight, but by tomorrow morning, quiet. 94 for your afternoon on Friday with a slight chance for storms into the afternoon. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
We are off to a warm start, 81 degrees in Salt Lake City.
I know soccer fans are passionate, Tim, but what in the world happened at this Argentina-Morocco soccer game? They're already having matches there as part of the Olympics. The fans rushed the field, and then,
Let me just tell you something. During our kickboxing events around the world, Moroccan fans are the ones who are usually the most raucous.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
we know when we have Moroccan kickboxers on the card, it could be a rough night.
It was for this
Oh my gosh.
opening match. We'll learn more from Tom Rivers just ahead.
Stay with us. That's coming up next, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be a sign that your digestive system isn't working at its best? Taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil fiber powders help promote your daily digestive health using a plant-based fiber called psyllium. The gelling action of this special fiber traps and removes waste so you can feel lighter and more energetic. Metamucil, promoting digestive health for a better you. Learn more at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Christine. 15 years ago, my world as a mom crumbled when my two sons finally were able to be honest about their substance addiction. My husband and I had been attending a 12-step addiction recovery program at our church to learn how to help our sons. We learned addiction is a life-threatening brain disease that's chronic, progressive, and has the capacity to take away free agency. I searched desperately to find the right help for our sons and was told to look for a strong aftercare program. By the grace of God, we found that with Renaissance Ranch and also found their amazing family program. Research studies indicate family members play a huge role in treatment outcome and long-term sobriety. Today, we are grateful owners of Renaissance Ranch with our sons and know addiction is a family illness, and families can find healing and connection when they are willing to learn more about recovery. If you have a loved one suffering from addiction, don't wait to seek help. Join us in our online Christ-centered family education classes that are open to the public at no charge. Look for us at renaissanceranch.com.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson. When we're trying to digest the news of the day, we have to remember that instant certainty is the enemy of truth. A flashy headline may distract you from the real issue and the important conversations underneath.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 5:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
local organizers are already calling on Utahns to volunteer for the 2034 Winter Olympics. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a new report says Utah has the highest number of stay-at-home parents in the country.
Third, of course, traffic and weather together.
So far, I-15 delay-free, crash-free. The only crash we've got is one on the left side on I-80 just before the Lake Point exit, although at this point it hasn't caused any backups, and they're all the way out of the way. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and evening thunderstorms. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 82 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's get our top national stories now from ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Biden bows out. In an Oval Office address to the nation, President Joe Biden said it had been the privilege of his life to serve the nation for over 50 years, but that it's time to pass the torch to his Vice President, Kamala Harris.
I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others. I've been blessed a million times in return with the love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you.
ABC's Karen Travers is at the White House.
The White House said that the president wanted to deliver these remarks in the Oval Office because this was a historic moment. This was a serious speech, and it was a somber speech for the president, that he didn't choose to do this in front of a big audience of cheering staff or supporters, that he was taking this very seriously.
ABC's Lana Louise has some of the Republican presidential nominees' remarks.
Trump slammed the address, saying crooked Joe Biden's Oval Office speech was barely understandable and so bad.
If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appearing before Congress.
For the forces of civilization to triumph, America and Israel must stand together.
Outside, anti-war protesters marched in the streets. Inside, some lawmakers carried out their own form of protest. Here's ABC's M. Wynn.
Netanyahu's address to Congress exposed the divisions in Washington over Israel's war. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, a Michigan Democrat who is censured by the House over her Israel comments, held up a sign that read "war criminal" on one side and "guilty of genocide" on the other.
Citing injuries, two-time Olympic tennis gold medalist Andy Murray has withdrawn from the singles competition in Paris, will only play doubles. Southwest Airlines, breaking a 50-year tradition, now says it will offer assigned seating like all the other airlines. This is ABC News.
Well, opening ceremonies are tomorrow night, but the Olympics, believe it or not, are already underway, and the men's Olympic soccer tournament got off to kind of a rocky start.
ABC News correspondent Tom Rivers joins us live. What happened, Tom?
Kind of like the old joke around the ice rink. I went to a fight, and in this case, a soccer game broke out. Not supposed to happen at the Olympics, as you guys know, and it was kind of a David and Goliath battle. Little Morocco was leading 2-1 against, two-time champ Argentina. 16th minute of added time. Looked like the equalizer scored by Argentina, but it was contentious. Was it offside or not? Venting their spleen, the fans from Morocco had a pitch invasion, throwing bottles, leaving cups out there. Security had to clear the place out. 2 hours later, they came back. The players finished with 3 more minutes to play. Nobody in the stands. And get this, VAR checked that contentious goal and said it was offside, so it didn't count anyway. The guys in the stands, they could have stayed there because the goal didn't count. So a crazy, crazy way to begin.
You live in London, Tom, so you know international, specifically European soccer is known for having some ruckus times and fans. But here in the Olympics, they want to know why the security was breached.
I tell you, we've been through it in phases here, waves of it, not only on the continent, but in the UK. Say it was pretty bad in the 80s. They kind of got on top of it. It rears its ugly head occasionally, not too often, but occasionally. And, yes, you have pitch invasions. You can have disputes, not only in the stadium, but fans locking horns outside of the arenas. And, it does, in fact, happen. And part of the security at a lot of the Premiership teams right now is you double or triple the security, a ring of human security around the pitch. So if anybody has anything about coming onto the playing field, they're dissuaded by the number of security. So I think they might increase that, or certainly they should think about that in coming games for the Olympics.
Is alcohol involved when fans storm the field like that?
Usually it is, exactly. And that means sometimes some of these fans, unfortunately, start early in the day. So when they get to the stadium, they're a little bit gone. But again, that alcohol certainly plays a part. And we saw that in the past where sometimes at events they will sell, for instance, 3-2 beer instead of full-strength beer, et cetera, to try to mitigate that situation.
Yeah. All right, Tom, thanks for your coverage on that. It is getting a lot of buzz here in Paris, I can tell you that. Amanda, you know I make trips on a regular basis to the Netherlands in Amsterdam, and there's a soccer stadium there called Johan Cruyff Arena where their team Ajax plays. And it's funny because, well, not so funny that they have to do this. The visiting fans have their own section in the upper deck that is surrounded by chicken wire fencing and plexiglass so that they can't throw things down on the pitch. And They have a separate corridor to their own concession stand,
Wow.
so that they don't mingle with the Dutch fans when there's a timeout or they go to get a drink or a hamburger, whatever it is. They take this stuff serious over here because it can be wild.
Man, I had no idea something like that was necessary.
Yeah, in soccer it is, and we actually had a kickboxing event where a Polish fighter and a Moroccan fighter, one of the most famous guys in the world, were fighting, and they called themselves self-described hooligans, Polish hooligans up in the stands who jumped down onto the main floor, and they were throwing chairs, and those of us that were working got underneath the ring just to have a little protection until they could calm things down a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep following it with your help and also with Tom Rivers' help. Right now, let's get a look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, our freeways in Salt Lake County all moving well early this morning. Roadwork zones along State Street through Midvale might slow you a touch, but doubt it just because traffic volumes are so light. Definitely not anything on the west side, Mountain View or Bangerter, to slow you down yet. Heather?
We have a little bit of slowing on US 89. This is northbound heading away from I-84, but before you get to Harrison Boulevard in South Ogden, it's probably just a slow-moving vehicle through that area. Southbound I-15 has most of the traffic, but it's not a lot. Still pretty light from Ogden to Salt Lake, and that's less than 30 minutes. Eric?
County I-15 moving along well from Provo to Point of the Mountain. That's a 20-minute drive if you're getting on University Avenue. Coming out of Tooele County, no problems yet on SR 36 or eastbound I-80, but there is a westbound crash early on this morning, a car versus an elk, and we still got one car that's still there on the scene. Again, this is westbound just before you exit at Lake Point. Hey, Utah, summer has come alive. All better in the new vehicle from Murdoch Hyundai. Lisa Tucson SEL for $377 per month or 1.99% for 5 years. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine, but storms rumbling in for the evening. 94 on Friday, afternoon storms scattered in nature. Partly cloudy, 93 for your Saturday. How about 94 sunshine on Sunday? We keep the sunshine with high pressure building as we get into next week with highs in the upper 90s Monday through Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Here in Paris this morning, believe it or not, it's 79 degrees, so not that much difference in temperature there in Salt Lake, 81. The difference is it's 5 o'clock in the morning at home, and it's 1 in the afternoon here.
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, so soccer is underway. Are any other sports underway already over there?
Yes, they have rugby sevens, which are rugby teams with just 7 participants, which is a big thing around the world, and handball. I was just watching women's handball, and Angola was taking on the Netherlands in one of the early women's events. So, and it's simply because of the numbers. They have so many teams that have to compete and so many brackets to whittle it down until they get to the medal stages that there just isn't enough time from opening to closing ceremonies to get all the competition done.
Wow. And I was just told by Randall Jepson, our executive producer, that we have a Provo guy on that Rugby 7 team. So that's fun to follow.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have great rugby in Utah, believe it or not. We've had some national champions in a team, people may not know this, but if you follow rugby, Larry Galewicz from Columbus Travel was the coach of a team from Highland that competed and won nationally on almost an annual basis. So we have some great rugby players.
Wow, coming up in just a moment, we will take a look at money news after a rough day on the markets yesterday. That's just ahead here at KSL News Radio.
I wish people would learn to come in sooner. Unfortunately, by the time they come in our stores, they're almost desperate. They've been struggling trying to find a solution for their problem. They're looking with hope in their eyes. You've got to be able to help me.
You're listening to Beth, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
A construction guy comes in and told me, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. My feet hurt so bad, I can't do what I need to do at work. You gotta help me. It's unbelievable how quickly the product changes some things for some people.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
When you're able to help them work more efficiently, more comfortably, and they're back and doing things that they've been wanting to do, things that they've missed. I go home every day proud of what I've done.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
The Good Feet store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
Good morning. We are watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The NBA signed an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video after declining Warner Brothers Discovery's offer of $1.8 billion per year. The media rights deals will bring the league about $76 billion over those 11 years.
CrowdStrike blaming a bug for the massive IT outage last week. It pushed bad data out to millions of computers that delayed flights, stopping digital payments, and disrupting hospitals. CrowdStrike says the problem was centered around an undetected error in the update.
It's almost time for back-to-school shopping. Yeah, I can't believe August is almost here. 70% of parents say it costs too much. A Wallet Hub survey found half of them say they expect to pay more for supplies this year than last year. Spending is expected to hit about $38.8 billion.
Markets making headlines today because of what happened yesterday. We were down 655 points on the NASDAQ, 500 points on the Dow, 130 on the S&P. Whew, what are we going to do today? It's mixed. The Dow is up just a fraction. The S&P is down 3.5. The NASDAQ off 8.25.
It's still pretty quiet out there on the roads at this early hour, but we'll check it. Traffic and weather together coming up next.
People have asked me why I chose soda weight loss instead of one of those shots or injections. Honestly, one of the reasons was because first, I knew soda got results. I just looked at my friends who'd already done it. And second, I knew those results stuck. With the shots, most people eventually gain back the weight they lost and then some, because it doesn't change the habits that led to their weight gain in the first place. Soda weight loss specializes in releasing the toxic deep down fat mass in the belly without drugs, pills, or shots. I let go of 70 pounds in just 5 months. They've helped me change my relationship with food and develop simple life habits that'll make my long-term success a sure thing. Basically, soda gets results and they last. See for yourself at sodaweightloss.com. Check out the thousands of before and after pictures of people just like you and me. While you're there, click the Request a Nutritionist callback. Within minutes, you'll be talking to someone who truly wants to help you get in the best shape of your life for the rest of your life. Go to sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. And remember, soda stands for, say it with me, state of the art.
In the dentist office, at the auto mechanic, or the restaurant lobby.
Just 2 of you today?
We do a lot of waiting, but of all the places we wait, I-15 may be the least enjoyable. Before you hit the road, check the road. Get traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and leave the waiting elsewhere.
DMV number 432.
Mornings and afternoons on KSL News Radio.
Time again for traffic and weather together here at 529. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Here's Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Tim, I-15 traffic rolling through Salt Lake County so far. It's been pretty nice on our major northbound cross streets that we typically see heavier traffic, including Bangerter. No slowing in the construction yet through Taylorsville. And Mountain View, no backups at any of the intersections on the west side. Heather?
Just a few brake lights here and there, mostly slow-moving vehicles. We'll see that on US 89 northbound as you leave I-84, head toward Harrison Boulevard in Ogden. Also northbound I-15 in leaving Roy, heading up through Riverdale. You see just a couple of brake lights there. But there is no accidents reported right now. City streets on the major freeways in Weber and Davis counties. Eric?
All lanes now open for westbound I-80 approaching Lake Point if you're heading out to Tooele County or beyond that. We did have an early morning crash to start things off. Eastbound heading away from Tooele County where we're going to see more congestion and problems. Right now that looks good. I-15 Utah County northbound, southbound, a little bit of congestion though on State Street if you're heading from the Provo area up into Orem. We'll see if there's a crash or some construction going on there, but right now that's going to be a little bit slower than normal. Planning to remodel this summer? See the latest in stunning quartzite and granite countertops from Bedrock Quartz, with 7 locations across Utah, including a new Park City showroom. Visit bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today we'll see 95 for a high, but we do have a good chance of thunderstorms. That's about a 40% chance of thunderstorms. Slight chance tomorrow as well, but we'll stay in the 90s for the rest of the 7-day forecast. Right now it's 82 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning, KSL News Time, 5:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
We're hearing exclusively from a school worker who tried to help a 12-year-old boy who died after police say he was starved for years.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, Jan Davis is a cafeteria worker in a school in West Haven where Gavin Peterson went before he passed away.
You would see him digging through the garbage. And at that point, if the little kid is hungry, I'm going to buy his lunch ticket.
She exclusively tells KSL TV Gavin's mom, Nicole Scott, found out she and other workers were buying Gavin's lunch, and she claims Scott told them to stop helping him. Davis and other workers made reports of the red flags to the school and DCFS, but it's unclear how far their investigations went. Gavin was pulled out of school last fall and was found out after police said his father, stepmother, and older brother were denying him food for years. They're all now facing charges of child abuse homicide. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We're finally seeing the heat back off, but we're also seeing a bunch of new wildfires around the state. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live with more. Michael?
Tim, we've been cooking for the past few weeks with consistent triple digits, and as a matter of fact, yesterday's high of 105 degrees tied the record for the hottest Pioneer Day Utah's ever seen. But glass half full, we're only seeing highs in the mid to low 90s for the rest of the week, and there's even a chance for rain and thunder showers today and tomorrow. Still, despite the cool-off, fires did break out across Utah yesterday, from Summit County to Zion National Park, and even a dumpster fire in Lehi. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. President Biden spoke to the nation last night talking about why he ended his re-election campaign. ABC News Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein weighs in on the speech.
Ultimately, time caught up with him. And to write that last chapter of public service on his own terms is pretty rare in an era where we see people serve in various capacities in government long beyond where they probably should be. And whether Biden reached that point or not, you didn't really hear that in his voice. He recognized that, as he said, it's time to pass the torch.
The president says the time has come for younger voices to be heard in Washington.
Thousands of war protesters gathered to protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman was there.
As Israel's Prime Minister was addressing Congress, just blocks away, clashes erupting between some pro-Palestinian protesters and the police. There was shoving, projectiles were thrown, and Capitol Police deployed pepper spray, saying protesters failed to obey police orders to retreat.
At least 9 people were arrested.
Delta promises to have all their flights back to normal today after canceling thousands of flights since last Friday's computer problems.
Utah's largest airport wasn't hit as hard as many airports across the country when a software glitch left travelers stranded from canceled and delayed flights last week. Flight traffic website FlightAware.com showed 40 flights to and from Salt Lake City International Airport were canceled, and more than 250 departures and arrivals were delayed on Tuesday. Yesterday, less than 1% of flights had been canceled. Airport spokeswoman Nancy Vollmer.
The passengers have been very cooperative considering the trying circumstances, and we appreciate their patience as we work through some of these issues.
I'm Mike Martinez, KSL News Radio.
A plea deal has been reached between Boeing and the Justice Department.
Boeing and the DOJ have finalized a plea agreement for the jetmaker to plead guilty to conspiracy to defraud the United States and pay a fine of $243.6 million after 2 737 MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019. The deal still needs to be approved by a U.S. district judge. A lawyer representing families of the crash victims calls it a sweetheart deal and strongly urges the judge to reject the plea.
ABC transportation reporter Clara McMichael reporting.
First look traffic now, and back over to you, Andy.
Man, it just heard on the scanners, possible crash on southbound 15 down in downtown around 1700 South. Going to look for it, see it. Initially, it doesn't look like any big problem, but we'll see how that changes. It is a little bit busy approaching the freeway, though, and now on 123rd South on the west side of I-15 in Riverton going into Draper. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
2 people in Layton were injured last night in a fireworks accident. City Fire Battalion Chief Jeremy Stell says a large crowd was lighting off fireworks at a park when something went wrong.
One of the fireworks malfunctioned, causing some of that to enter into the crowd space.
No other damage was reported.
A big party was held in Provo last night at the Peaks Ice Arena to celebrate Utah getting the 2034 Winter Games. KSL TV's Andrew Adams was also there.
I know Salt Lake is already prepared. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with our locker rooms here.
Though the event is nearly 10 years out, skaters here know the state is already well prepared.
We've done such a good job maintaining our venues here in Utah. The people love it, so we are ready.
Here's another Utah Olympic connection. South Jordan is now the home to USA Cycling's new BMX freestyle training facility. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson reports.
The training facility was actually finished in March, but it was just unveiled this week as 6 cyclists from Team USA get ready to compete in Paris. Joe Serlin is the founder and president of Core Athlete, which runs this state-of-the-art unique facility.
The pure size of it is very unique. The ramp size as well as the footprint the building has with the ceiling heights. There's just no other place in the United States that has this style of course.
BMX freestyle has seen a huge spike in popularity since becoming an Olympic sport in 2020. Serlin says this new facility will be the training ground for Olympians as well as aspiring Olympians. They also hope to host national competitions. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
I-15 moving along at a normal pace. I-80 looking good. We'll check it all. Traffic and weather coming up next.
Join your friends who rely on KSL each morning for the fastest routes to work and school.
I am listening for the traffic. I'll always know if somebody's going to be late to work. That's often what's on when I'm driving.
Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s.
On KSL News Radio.
Any Hour Services can make sure your AC keeps you cool this summer. Whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed.
5 years of advanced security.
Security win.
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is.
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited.
Yep. Dave's feeling it, but it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings, powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
Woo! Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Dave and Dujanovic.
If you're driving to work or you're driving the kids to a soccer game, we're your in-car companions.
People will come up to me and say, "Oh, I talk to you every day. You don't realize it because I'm talking at the radio, but I talk to you every day."
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
President Biden, of course, spoke to the nation last night. Coverage, even here in Paris, France, on the television in their news. And unfortunately, I don't speak French, so I don't know what their angle on it was. But the president did say that the time has come for younger voices to be heard in Washington. We'll have continued reaction for you this morning.
Right now, 5:39, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Amanda, travel on I-15 has been clean this morning. Got a crash reported on the southbound side in downtown Salt Lake. Supposed to be near 1700 South. There's been no additional slowing through that area yet. It is getting a little bit heavy on Bangerter Highway, starting around the 3500 South intersection, going up towards 201, but not enough to add any travel time. Heather?
Traffic's still pretty light. Southbound I-15 from Ogden to Salt Lake City, so you're definitely going to do that travel in under 30 minutes if you do have to get up this early in the morning. Also, if you need to catch a flight, transitioning onto Legacy Parkway in the West Side Belt are good options for you. No accidents there, no delays, and city streets are pretty quiet this time of the morning. Eric?
We still got some slowing northbound on State Street between Provo and Orma, heading north from Cougar Boulevard, up to about 1700 north in Provo. That's where you've got these slowdowns. I-15 in Utah County looking good from Provo to Lehigh and out into Tooele County. Right now, SR 36 is a clean drive heading up to Lake Point and then getting on to eastbound I-80 if that's what you're going to do. For a limited time, enjoy no payments for the first 90 days when you finance your new vehicle with America First Credit Union. Head to americafirst.com to apply today. Equal opportunity lender. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
How about a break from the triple digits today? We'll go to 95. Daytime high, afternoon sunshine, but thunderstorms rolling into the Wasatch Front into the evening. 73 overnight, ending showers. 94 tomorrow with a chance for afternoon storms. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
It is a very pleasant 79 here in Paris, France, and where you are to start the morning even warmer, 81 degrees.
It is now 12 days since the assassination attempt on former President Trump. What do we know about this shooter and any possible motivation? We're going to talk with our crime and terrorism expert, Brad Garrett, coming up next on KSL.
Stay with us and remember to look for us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Hi, Grandma. What's for dinner?
Hey, honey, I'm making stew tonight.
Ooh, can Nina come over?
I'm not sure about our new friend. I wonder if there's been any drinking going on. Alcohol at her age can lead to so many bad things. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
This is hard. She's so young, but I know I need to talk to her about it now before someone tries to give her alcohol. If anyone ever does offer you a drink, I want you to say no. I have too much respect for my family, and I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay.
Really?
I promise, Grandma. I love you too.
Okay, how about tasting this stew and telling me what you think?
Some children may try alcohol as young as 9 years old. It's not too early to talk about drinking. For tips on how to begin the conversation, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency?
Someone on the other line said they kidnapped my son and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official, he'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time, 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
wildfires flared up across Utah yesterday, but hopefully we won't see any more triple-digit days along the Wasatch Front for the rest of the week. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Commit.
Second, investigators are trying to find out what caused a small plane to crash into a neighborhood in Roy.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
And right now, if you're traveling on the freeways, you got nothing in front of you to slow you down. Even a crash reported downtown hasn't caused any backups around 1700 South. Been good into the canyon so far as well. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler today with a high of 95, but evening storms possible. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time to check in with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden addressing the nation, saying he loves his job, but he loves his country more, and that's why he decided to forego his re-election campaign.
It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president, but in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think it's more important than any title.
ABC's Rick Klein was in the Oval Office when the speech was delivered.
Inside the room, it was emotional and intimate. Family members dialed in intensely to what the president was saying, because to them, the president isn't the president. He's their father or their grandfather or their husband. And it was powerful to watch their reaction.
Donald Trump called the speech barely understandable. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet separately with both President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris today. Tomorrow, he will fly to Mar-a-Lago to meet with Donald Trump. Andy Murray has pulled out of the Olympics, citing continued injuries. Murray has twice won the gold medal in tennis at the Games. This is ABC News.
The investigation into the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump continues, and there are still so many questions left unanswered.
ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett joins us live. Do we know anything more, Brad, about a possible motive in this shooter?
Not really. I mean, we have things that Director Wray of the FBI said yesterday about him doing a Google search of the distance between the shooter that killed President Kennedy back in 62 or 3. And a number of other things, bought ammo the day of the shooting, etc. But to your point, the answer is no. There apparently, according to Director Wray, there are some encrypted apps they're still looking at. But if you look, Amanda, as what was on, we've been told so far, what was on his phone, picture of former President Trump, President Biden, Attorney General Garland, the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton. If you lay those out, you would go, that's a pretty diverse group of people, but they have one thing in common. They're all famous. And the key factor in almost every mass shooting is fame. The shooter wants you to know who he is and that he's done something in his mind that's important, to draw attention to himself. I think that's going to be the motive at the end of the day. Will we find anything in writing, or did he ever say that to anybody? Remains to be seen.
Most people, and I'm sure, Brad, you're among them with your background, are wondering, how the heck did this happen? We learned in the congressional hearing the other day from the head of the Secret Service, who has since stepped down, that someone with authority on the local side saw this guy with a gun 18 minutes before the former president took the stage. How did he even take the stage in that case?
Well, that's exactly right. So the question is going to be, Tim, is what was communicated and when it was communicated. If 18 minutes ends up being true, then what went on during those 18 minutes? Were there issues in communicating with the Secret Service command post, and there would have been one to control this event in or near the stage where former President Trump was speaking or about to speak? It's things like that. And then how quickly did the information of that he's in a prone position with a weapon that apparently a number of civilians spotted and got the police or yelled at the police to go check it out. And then, of course, there's the reporting of an officer attempts to go on the roof, pokes his head up apparently, and the shooter turns and points the AR-15 at him, but then immediately starts shooting, which I'm sure at that point felt panicked and rushed that he would have to get this done before he gets killed. Mm-hmm. And then eventually the Secret Service sniper kills him. But to your point, that's a lot of time that seems to be missed opportunities to have stopped him.
The former head of the Secret Service said that she was making a distinction between a person, between a threat and a suspicious person. What's the big distinction there?
Well, a threat obviously would be that, let's say, for example, Amanda, that they had information about Mr. or Ms. X that has a history of threatening President Trump, for example. and that they spot him or her at the rally, they're going to put agents and officers on that person and never take their eyes off of them, and may even confront them long before the president even starts talking. That would be somebody that fits that profile. A person that's just suspicious is probably a lot of people at one of these rallies. And these things attract a sort of a cross of a lot of different types of people. And so as a result, I think they reported that he was like loitering, whatever that means, and that they lost track of him at some point. So I think that's the difference. They never saw him as a threat until the end, apparently, when civilians spotted him on the roof with a weapon, and then officers tried to confront him. Then obviously which ends up sadly being too late.
Yeah, wow. We're going to have to hold it there, and we're all waiting for better answers. Brad, thank you. Brad Garrett, of course, joins us on Thursdays, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst in Washington this morning on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. Let's get that look at the drive, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dyno app, where you can save up to 20 cents a gallon. Andy's back in the traffic center.
Well, we've got a little bit of slowing creeping in on Mountain View at 3500 South. It's a little bit of a wait at that intersection. So far on Bangerter, no extra problems. State Street construction might slow you a little bit north of 90th South, but very little traffic. At least so far this morning, getting to the freeways. Heather?
We've got some slowdowns now southbound I-15 as you go past the I-84 interchange into Riverdale and Roy. Not sure if that is construction related. Usually around this time they're starting to put barrels out, but it's definitely going to add a couple extra minutes to your commute if you're heading all the way into downtown Salt Lake. You do still have good speeds if you transition onto Legacy Parkway or the West Side Belt, and no congestion yet getting into Hill Air Force Base. Eric?
Going out through Parley's Canyon, I-80 looks good. Heading from the mouth of the canyon out to the Kimball Junction exit. US 40 along the Wasatch Back, no problems there. And I-15 in Utah County, that's moving along pretty good this morning. From Santa Quin to Point on the Mountain, you're looking at a 30-minute drive time. Thinking of a kitchen remodel? Durden's matches every competitor's price, and you get rebates on single appliances or whole kitchen appliance packages. Durden's also offers next-day delivery on Fifth South and Bountiful or DurdensAppliance.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine. By evening, we've got thunderstorms rolling on in. 94 for your Friday afternoon, scattered thunderstorms. We'll go partly cloudy, 93 for a high on Saturday. That looks delightful. 94 sunny skies on Sunday. We'll go back to 97 sunny skies on Monday. Blue skies prevail on Tuesday, 97. Before you know it, we're back to 98 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 81 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Just took a little peek at what the expectations are weather-wise here in Paris for the beginning of opening ceremonies, which I think start at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken. It gets dark late here, by the way. But it's going to be upper 70s, just a 5% chance of showers, so the organizers here, I'm sure, are thrilled that their plans are going to be able to go off without Mother Nature getting involved. We'll have more on that for you coming up between now and tomorrow when we wrap up our broadcast here in Paris. Just ahead, though, a look at money news, so stay with us.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness.
Visit the contest page on KSLNewsRadio.com. This week, win tickets to the Deer Valley Music Festival as the Utah Symphony performs Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture on Friday, July 26th. We'll even throw in a $50 Deer Valley gift card or win tickets to Lagoon. Lagoon, it's what fun is. What are you waiting for? Text the word contest to 57500 or go to KSLNewsRadio.com/contest.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear this shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. More parents are putting more money forward during the summer for childcare. The Federal Reserve says families now spend 1/5 of their income on childcare, an average of $800 a month.
In other money news this morning, Inside Out 2 has spread joy all over the world and is now the highest grossing animated movie ever. It's made $1.46 billion in global ticket sales, outselling Frozen 2. It'll make even more when it opens in Japan, which contributed nearly $33 million to the first movie's opening.
More people are struggling to pay their credit card bills. The number of people running behind on payments reached a 12-year high. The Philadelphia Federal Reserve says it comes as more people use credit lines for everyday essentials like groceries.
Let's get a look now at your money at this moment. After a rough day yesterday, the futures are down again this morning, but not by much. Dow futures off a fraction, 11 points. S&P futures down 5, which is about 0.1%. The Nasdaq futures this morning are down 29, which is just over 0.1%. Let me just check crude oil real quick. Oil is down $1.19. We're at $76.40 a barrel.
I-15 at a normal pace out there throughout the Wasatch Front. I-80 into Parley's also without any problems. That's good to hear. We'll check traffic and weather together in 2 minutes.
Honey, hello, honey. This has to stop.
Mowing the lawn? I can't. It grows too fast.
You planted grass in our bedroom.
Yeah, the green is a great compliment to the blue walls.
You planted grass in the hall and the kitchen, too.
I know. I love grass.
Yeah, I love grass, too, but not everywhere.
Does that mean I have to get rid of the riding mower, too? She handles great down the hallway.
Mom warned me there'd be days like this.
Grass doesn't belong everywhere. So now Utah Water Savers offers an incentive plan to replace your grass with water-efficient landscaping. Earn as much as $3 for every square foot of lawn replaced. Register at UtahWaterSavers.com and learn what incentives are available in your area. And if you thought money didn't grow on trees, guess again. Add trees to your project from a pre-approved list and you'll enjoy a tree bait. Reducing water use is one of the most impactful long-term changes you can make. So start at UtahWaterSavers.com. UtahWaterSavers.com.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines. But most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country. And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Jeff Kaplan.
When I was a kid, my parents got me a subscription to Newsweek magazine. I would devour every page into the night. And to this day, I sit on my iPad looking for stories for my minute of news, flesh out our coverage, and I get to share the news with you.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
In the dentist office, at the auto mechanic, or the restaurant lobby.
Just 2 of you today?
We do a lot of waiting, but of all the places we wait, I-15 may be the least enjoyable. Before you hit the road, check the road. Get traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and leave the waiting elsewhere.
DMV number 432.
Mornings and afternoons on KSL News Radio.
5:59, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Andy.
Amanda, travel on I-15, clear in Salt Lake County. We've got some slowing Mountain View and 3500 South. It's pretty heavy in State Street's construction between 90th and 7200 South in Midvale. Heather?
We have slowdown southbound I-15 coming out of Ogden all the way down almost to 5600 South in Roy. I'm thinking we have a crash. Haven't seen any of the barrels go out, but you're pretty much at a crawl through that stretch of freeway. Everybody else moving at speed, though, unless you're getting into the south gate of Hill Air Force Base, that's starting to see back up. Eric?
Looks like the bit of slowing we had northbound on State Street between Provo and Orem has diminished. So no real problems right now in Utah County coming out of Tooele County northbound SR 36 up at Lake Point. The entrance point onto I-80 is also looking good at this moment. GoPave Utah would like to do a shout out to all veterans, active duty, reserve, and your loved ones. The GoPave Utah family and employees humbly thank you for your service and dedication. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
So this might be hopefully the last day we have to deal with triple digits, but we're still going to be hot in the upper 90s, and we're warm today to get the day started for sure, too. It is already 81 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City this hour.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good morning. KSL News Time now is 6 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News, and live from Paris, France, I'm Tim Hughes.
I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
Local organizers are already calling on Utahns to volunteer for the 2034 Winter Games.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small is live with details. Adam?
Amanda, Utah Olympic Legacy Foundation event manager Mary Reiser says they need volunteers of all types, but they're specifically looking for technical volunteers early. She tells KSL TV these are people who will work more intricate events like the biathlon or speed skating, where you might have to time lapse or be a corner judge.
It's going to be key. We need people to understand the sport, and especially on that technical side, we need people to come and learn it.
Reiser says they don't know for sure how many volunteers they'll need yet, but she expects it'll be in the thousands.
We couldn't host these events. We couldn't do it without volunteers.
Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our state is being well represented because dozens of Olympic athletes have ties to Utah. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with that story. Michael?
Tim, we're looking at around 40 different athletes in Paris who are connected to the Beehive State. And the majority, like BYU and Utah alumnus Kenneth Rooks and Simon Plorde, are running on the track. But we're also getting represented in some of the other events, too. And some of these athletes are competing with other countries. Sweden diver Emilia Nilsson-Garup is a Utah sophomore, and Women's Royals players Macy Frazier, Ifi Onumonu, and Mina Tanaka will be playing for New Zealand, Nigeria, and Japan, respectively. Utah alumnus Paige Crozon, Kim Goucher, and Michelle Plouffe will represent Canada in women's 3x3 basketball. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Some criticism this morning for Utah's deal with the International Olympic Committee to give the committee the final say into doping investigations. USA Today columnist Christine Brennan says the FBI was investigating accusations of Chinese swimmers doping in the 2020 Games. And now that investigation will be dropped.
And so while you had Katie Ledecky an hour and a half earlier in a press conference talking about the importance of clean sport and cleaning up sport and doping, one floor and 90 minutes later, you had these officials caving in to demands from the International Olympic Committee for them to get rid of the investigation into something that Katie Ledecky, Michael Phelps just testified in front of Congress, that they care so much about.
Utah's Olympic bid delegation says they worked tirelessly over the past few weeks to find a resolution with the Olympic Committee, which had the potential to derail Salt Lake's bid.
Just in case you weren't up early with us yesterday morning to hear Utah's pitch to the IOC, it was filled with messages of unity. Here's Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall and President of the Olympic Bid Committee, Frazier Bullock.
For the games and for the sport to unite us across all boundaries.
We work together well in Utah. Doesn't matter what political party, you put that aside as we go forward to welcome the world.
It was so great to be here and get a chance to chat with them and feel their energy yesterday. The 2002 Games were held just a few months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and they helped bring the country and the world together back then, too.
Owner of the Utah Jazz and chairman of Smith Entertainment, Ryan Smith, also made his way to Paris for the 2034 announcement. KSL News Radio's Kira Hoffelmeyer caught up with Smith, who told reporters Utah is set up to be one of the elite sports states in the U.S.
And the fastest growing state, the youngest demographic, and every other business, you bet on those people. Actually, the amount of brands in the world and technology in the world that are trying to find a region or a demographic that's young, that's growing, that's fast. And then I think what makes Utah different is just the people. I mean, the fact that there's this many people coming out, and all of us have one thing in common: we want to build our state. And that's not that we want more people to come to Utah. It actually is more that, for whatever reason, life's happened to everyone who's here and so many back home where they feel like they carry that Utah flag. And that's what makes Utah different, is that, you know, if you would have told me 20 years ago that the majority of my life would be in one way or another promoting our state, whether it's through sports or something else, I didn't sign. It's just the way it goes, but it's authentic because I love Utah and I love the people of Utah.
Smith says the addition of Utah's new NHL hockey team will only add to the state's appeal. You could read a lot more on the Paris Games and the 2034 Games on our website, kslnewsradio.com.
Andy's back now with your first look traffic.
We got a stalled vehicle causing us some delays on southbound 15 coming down from Riverdale towards Roy. For those of you going through the area, that's going to be the only extra travel time you're going to see between Ogden and downtown on the freeway. There's none on the northbound side going from Provo all the way up to Salt Lake. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL's top national stories this hour. President Joe Biden addressed the American people last night, talking about his withdrawal from the presidential race.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division.
ABC News political analyst Steve Roberts says the president made his case for the need for a new generation of leaders.
By this decision, he has injected enormous energy into Democratic ranks. Democrats had one of the best fundraising days ever in history after he announced he was pulling out. Harris has had good crowds where she's been campaigning.
Former President Donald Trump is also addressing Biden's speech last night.
Trump slammed the address, saying crooked Joe Biden's Oval Office speech was barely understandable and so bad.
If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Back on the campaign trail Wednesday at a rally in Charlotte, now going after Harris.
The most incompetent and far-left vice president in American history.
ABC's Lina Moise reporting from the campaign trail.
Federal investigators trying to find out why a small plane went down and crashed into a Roy neighborhood on Pioneer Day.
Neighbors heard a plane come barreling through the trees, clipping some branches before coming to a stop at the foot of a family's home on their front yard. Now, they came outside to see a man, a pilot presumably, and a woman getting out of that plane in shock. The man had blood running down his forehead. They were rushed to the hospital. There was damage to the home where those tree branches were clipped on the roof, but neighbors here say they're grateful no one was seriously injured.
That is KSL TV's Garna Mejia reporting from the scene.
Some early slowing this morning northbound on both Bangerter and Mountain View in West Valley as you approach 3500 South. We'll check that and the rest of your morning commute just ahead.
Spend time with KSL News Radio and get a deeper understanding of the world around us.
You've got voices like Boyd Matheson.
I enjoy his measured approach to things.
A very balanced view.
Inside Sources, weekdays 1 to 3.
On KSL News Radio.
We have some exciting news to announce.
Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And I can speak from experience, Deb. Mountain Home Services installed my furnace years ago, and it's been amazing.
And we know Master Electrical Service has been your trusted source for all your electrical needs, like your EV chargers, your generators, and recessed lighting.
But now that they've joined Mountain Home Services, they can help you with your HVAC, your heating and air, as well as your plumbing.
And it comes with that upfront pricing guarantee. I love the upfront pricing guarantee because it means no hidden fees.
100% satisfaction guarantee as well.
Master Electrical Service has been the name you trust since 1954.
They're the company we trust, and so can you.
Check them out now at mountainhomeutah.com.
That's mountainhomeutah.com, or give them a call at 801-543-2222. So easy to remember, 801-543-2222.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains Tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Some of our Utah delegation went out today, and our Kira Hoffelmeyer actually was tagging along early on a youth athlete event where it looks like the kids were having a good time and just enjoying their time here in Paris. Fun to catch up with Ryan Smith, owner of the Jazz there. We'll have more from Kira coming up later this morning. It's 2:09 Paris time. It is 6:09 for those of you back in Salt Lake City. Time for Traffic and Weather Together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Let's go back over to Andy Farnsworth.
Well, Tim, I'm looking at what appears to be a crash, at the very least emergency vehicles on southbound Redwood Road, just after the I-80 overpass in Salt Lake City on the west side of the city. Right now, looks like the right lane blocked there. Doesn't look like the exit ramp is blocked at all from coming off of I-80 coming over from the airport. I-15's all clear northbound, and we did have a little bit of slowing at Mountain View and 3500 south, but for now that intersection is moving much better. Heather?
We do have a bit of congestion trying to get into the south gate of Hill Air Force Base in Layton. Right now, most of that is affecting Hillfield Road, heading into the base. Southbound I-15, you're still under the speed limit as you come out of Ogden, go past I-84 down toward 5600 South and Roy. That was due to an earlier stalled vehicle that had been blocking the right lane and shoulder. It's now been moved out of traffic. It's just taking a few extra minutes to get traffic back up to speed. Eric.
Northbound Tooele County drivers looking good on SR 36 right now. No real delay spots in Stansbury or Lake Point getting onto I-15, though that's bound to change. I-15, Utah County, northbound, southbound, that's moving along at a good clip from Payson to Point of the Mountain. Hey, Utah County, Jones Paint and Glass is opening a new location in Payson. Be sure to come to their grand opening celebration on July 27th from 8 to 5. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Wednesday's official high tied a record at 105. Today, 10 degrees cooler at 95, afternoon sunshine, and a chance for evening thunderstorms. Overnight, 73. We'll go to 94 tomorrow with a chance for afternoon storms. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Temperature downtown retreating just a little bit, 80 degrees this hour.
Tim, who is the person you're going to introduce us to coming up in a few minutes?
Christy Nicolay, she's here in Paris, which represents her 14th Olympics, if you can believe it. But she was the head of sport presentation back in 2002 and actually was the reason I got the opportunity I did at Metals Plaza. I thought it'd be fun to catch up with her here, which I did the other night, and just get her memories of 2002. So we're going to do that here in a minute.
Look forward to that. Coming up on KSL, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hey, if you've been suffering from arthritic joint pain, don't suffer any longer. Maybe you've gone the route of steroids or you've had injections of some kind. You certainly want to avoid surgery because there's so many unknowns on the other side of that. But you do want to get your life back and start having that quality time with your family. Be happy that you live in a time when there are new treatments coming along, these new cellular therapies that can help you get lasting relief without the drugs, without the steroids. QC Kinetics is helping patients like you every day with advanced regenerative medicine that can actually accelerate your own body's healing properties and revitalize your joints so that you can start moving again. They have arrived in Utah, and you're going to find them in Mill Creek, Provo, and Bountiful. But it's just a chance for QC Kinetics to treat the pain, enhance your joints, and restore your opportunity to get out and do the things you love with the people you love. They're offering free consultations right now. Why not call and find out if they can help you? 385-766-1987. That's 385-766-1987. Call QC Kinetics today at 385-766-1987.
When it's hot like this, air conditioners struggle to keep up. Parts are under more stress, and sometimes those parts fail. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and no one helps more homeowners maintain and repair their air conditioners than Any Hour Services. As a matter of fact, last year, over 32,000 homeowners called Any Hour Services for help maintaining and repairing their systems. Any Hour Services has over 100 HVAC technicians to help with everything from maintenance, repair, to installing a new system. This summer, there'll be a lot of people told they need to replace their air conditioner, and they'll wonder, do I really need to? If you're told you need to replace your air conditioner and you still have questions, Any Hour Services can give you a second opinion and let you know what options are available. Maybe it just needs a little maintenance or a small repair. Maybe it does need to be replaced, but if you don't feel good about being told you need to replace your air conditioner, don't ignore those feelings. Call Any Hour Services for help with air conditioner maintenance, repair, or to schedule a free second opinion. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Summer is the season of sun, fun, and freedom.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no better way to take advantage of every minute and every mile than with a low-rate auto loan from America First Credit Union. Plus, for a limited time, when you finance your new vehicle with America First, you can let your wallet enjoy some time off, too, with no payments for 90 days. So make your summer move. Head to AmericaFirst.com to apply for pre-approval of your low-rate auto loan today. Eligibility, terms, conditions, and creditworthiness apply. Subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Seriously, this is what my money is doing. Playing games? Right now, Nicole's money is remodeling her kitchen.
I don't know how to do that.
Nicole said it's easy. She just called America First Credit Union and got a fantastic rate on a home equity loan.
No!
I'm calling America First.
Get your money working. Visit AmericaFirst.com and get a 0.25% discount on our low-rate home equity loans. Subject to eligibility, terms, conditions, and property criteria. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
KSL News Time, 6:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
we're hearing exclusively from a cafeteria worker who says she tried to help a 12-year-old boy in West Haven before police say he died from years of starvation and abuse. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the owner of the Utah Jazz is in Paris telling reporters Utah is becoming an elite place for sports.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Freeways, I-15 still a little bit slow near Roy because of a stalled vehicle. There's not a lot of emergency area to put vehicles, which is part of the reason it's backed up, even though they've moved it over to the side. And we've got a right lane blocked on southbound Redwood going over I-80 because of, well, actually, I'm not sure what. Might be a crash, though. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and evening thunderstorms. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
With a check of our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden addressing the nation from the White House, saying it's time to pass the torch and to look ahead.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division.
Here's ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
The president who ran in 2020 casting himself to be a bridge to the next generation of leaders, saying now is the time to make good on that pledge.
But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy.
The president with this parting message.
The great thing about America is here. Kings and dictators do not rule. The people do. History is in your hands. The power is in your hands.
ABC's Rachel Scott has Republican Donald Trump's reaction. With President Biden now out of the race, Donald Trump returned back to the campaign trail, ready to attack his new rival, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Now we have a new victim to defeat, Lion Kamala Harris.
But Trump not letting up on President Biden. His advisors posting photos of the former president watching Biden's Oval Office address on his plane. Trump calling it barely understandable and so bad. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with President Biden and Vice President Harris today, and he will meet with Donald Trump tomorrow in Florida. At least 60 lawmakers boycotted his speech over Netanyahu's handling of the war in Gaza in Congress. Traders watching and waiting to see if big losses on Wall Street continue through the day. The sell-off caused by less than stellar earnings results from some big tech stocks, including Elon Musk's EV company.
You have Tesla shares that are down about 11%. It's worst day since January 25th. Of this year, and that was on weaker than expected results.
B. Riley Wealth Chief Market Strategist Art Hogan. Andy Murray, two-time Olympic gold medalist, has pulled out of the singles tennis competition at the Paris Games, citing injuries. You're listening to ABC News.
Well, many presenters, athletes, and Utahns are recalling their memories from the 2002 Olympic Games.
My friend Christy Nicolay is here in Paris. This will be her 14th Olympic Games, and her first was all the way back in Sydney, Australia. So Salt Lake City was number 2. So I asked her to share some of her memories.
My overall feeling from Salt Lake is
just amazing. Like, I tell everyone who asks me, like, there'll never be another Salt Lake, and unless there's a Salt Lake.
2034.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just because, it's the only games I got to do in my country. It really was, I think we just had, like, one, it was super easy living there, like such a beautiful, clean city, super safe. But also, our leadership with Mitt Romney, and then I had Scott, and then Sarah, and like just the whole team. I mean, it was just so great. And I felt like I could really kind of push the envelope there. Like I was doing sport presentation before I got to Salt Lake, because I come from X Games, from ESPN's X Games. So even maybe 4 years before Sydney, I was already kind of doing this, like we called it live event production. But then it was actually sport production in Salt Lake, and then somewhere it was sport presentation. Anyway, it's all the same thing. So while I was working in Sydney, I didn't see like a lot of innovation and stuff. Like, it was great. Like, Sydney was a great games, and for me, like I said, working with NBC was also just so much fun. But in Salt Lake, I felt like we had the time, I think, to be more creative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you got out to outward biathlon, so Soldier Hollow.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And we had horse-drawn sleighs taking people from the parking lot to the stadium, and we had the teepees, and and I think we had like Foo Fighters or played at the bottom.
And it was that A-list concert talent, Amanda, that became the staple at Metals Plaza every night in downtown Salt Lake City. It was the first time that an Olympic Games had a single gathering place for all of the medals to be awarded. So just some great memories dating back to 2002.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Tim. Right now, let's get another look at traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Andy.
Amanda, travel on I-15 has been clear through Salt Lake County. We've got a crash on southbound Redwood Road, or something on southbound Redwood Road, with emergency vehicles blocking the right lane just before, basically right on the I-80 overpass. Traffic coming off of 215 and I-80 to Redwood are going to see the emergency vehicles more over to the left, though. Heather?
We're looking pretty good through Weber and Davis County. We're back to normal freeway speeds southbound 15 from Ogden to Salt Lake, so that's less than a 30-minute commute. The congestion we had getting into the south gate of Hill Air Force Base has eased up. You might still have to wait through one traffic light on Hillfield Road to get into the base, but otherwise you're going to have a really nice drive on the West Gate and the Roy Gates, and no problems right now on city streets in Weber and Davis counties. Eric?
Along the 215 East Belt, we're in good shape heading north from Cottonwood Heights, 6200 south, up to the mouth of Parley's Canyon. Then taking that right turn going on I-80 into the mountains, no problems through Parley's Canyon. I-15 in Utah County, northbound and southbound, that's in great shape too. Choose a gorgeous new countertop for your kitchen or bath at the Bedrock Quartz Stone Sale, with selected choices at up to 50% off in July. Visit one of 7 showrooms today or bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine, but storms rumbling in for the evening. 94 on Friday, afternoon storms scattered in nature. Partly cloudy, 93 for your Saturday. How about 94 sunshine on Sunday? We keep the sunshine with high pressure building as we get into next week with highs in the upper 90s Monday through Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
How about 80 degrees to start the morning, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Man, tech stocks took a beating yesterday. It was the worst day for tech stocks in like 2 years. We'll take a look at money news just ahead on KSL News Radio.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
This Friday, join KSL News Radio and NPS from 10 to 1 as the movie show stops by. Then, browse and uncover what makes NPS so great. With 4 locations, NPS takes a new inventory every day. Then they check all competitors' retail pricing before marking items down 20 to 70% off. You're invited to visit the movie show this Friday from 10 to 1. And that's the first step to discovering NPS. Visit npsstore.com to begin your own NPS adventure. npsstore.com.
Hey, Utah. When it comes to guiding the growth of our state, you buzzed in with your comments, and we listened to what you had to say. Your feedback on the future of Utah's housing, water, transportation, and open space will continue to help our leaders make important policy decisions, preserving and improving our high quality of life in meaningful ways for years to come. So, thanks for speaking up. Learn more about our state's future at guidingourgrowth.utah.gov.
Time for a crucial conversation about your health and weight loss goals. Everyone wants fast results, but such results usually come with side effects. And such an approach is completely unsustainable. That's why I chose SOTA Weight Loss. It's SOTA, stands for state-of-the-art weight loss. It's swift, safe, and most important, sustainable. You know, with those fad diets and diet drugs, you have to ask the crucial question, is it safe? And what happens when you stop taking the drugs? Sadly, most people gain the weight back and a little bit more. SOTA is the real, lasting, natural solution to letting go of weight and belly fat with no drugs, no side effects for real results. You know, I swiftly lost 37 pounds in 90 days, and I've sustained that exact weight for over 2.5 years. That's real, sustainable success. So do you want swift, safe, sustainable results? Go to SOTA Weight Loss, SOTAweightloss.com today. Again, SOTAweightloss.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Stellantis says they will focus on North American sales after a plunge in first half earnings. Net profits were down by half in the first 6 months of the year, due largely to lower sales and restructuring costs.
You don't have to worry about sitting next to a random person on Southwest Airlines anymore. The company is moving to assigned seating. It allows the airline to charge for a premium for some of the seats on the flights.
Disneyland has avoided what would have been its first strike in 40 years. The park reached a tentative agreement with 14,000 workers. It comes after about 4 months of negotiation.
All right, let's take a look at the futures after they really took a beating yesterday. The markets, the Dow is down again this morning, but just slightly. It's off about 10 points. S&P down about the same, 0.2%, represented by a 12-point drop, and the Nasdaq is off another 61 points.
We had some early slowing northbound on Bangerter and Mountain View in West Valley. We'll see if that's still an issue. We'll check traffic and weather coming up next.
I like daffodils, tulips, the big dinner plate dahlias. I loved being in the garden, but I wasn't going to be able to because I couldn't not only walk, but I couldn't really stand on my foot without being in pain. It was excruciating. So my husband said, let's go to the Good Feet store.
For over 20 years, we've helped people like Terry live the life they love without letting their feet get in the way.
This nice young man said, I think I can help you. He got the arch support, and I was fitted. And I kept walking back and forth across the store, and I looked at my husband and burst into tears because it was the first time in a year that I have not had any pain in my foot. I have had no pain since the day I bought them. Now I can do whatever I want. There isn't any place on my property that doesn't have flowers blooming 365 days a year. I still can't believe it. My name is Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with the free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
Stop by the Good Feet store in Farmington, Riverton, or Sandy for a free fitting. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
In the dentist office, at the auto mechanic, or the restaurant lobby.
Just two of you today?
We do a lot of waiting, but of all the places we wait, I-15 may be the least enjoyable. Before you hit the road, check the road. Get traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. And leave the waiting elsewhere.
DMV number 432.
Mornings and afternoons on KSL News Radio.
Let's get that look at traffic and weather together here at 6:29. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon What's it looking like this hour, Andy?
Well, Tim, we had the one crash, I guess, on southbound Redwood going over I-80. That's had only minimal impact so far, thankfully. I don't see any other crashes in the Salt Lake Valley, although I-15 is starting to fill in a little bit more down around Point of the Mountain, and Mountain View has got that little bit of slowing coming back around 3500 south. Heather?
Well, we're delay-free now in Weber and Davis County on the major freeways, but traffic definitely filling in. Southbound I-15, especially between Clearfield and Farmington, that has your heaviest traffic flows, but it's all at speed. You also have a good drive if you're going through the mountains, I-84 to and from Morgan, and no issues right now on city streets. Eric?
24 minutes northbound I-15 from Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain if you're going to do that drive in Utah County. No accidents or delays along the way, and that's the kind of progress you'll make if those are the conditions. If you're out in Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs, northbound Redwood Road looks good, as to the eastbound avenues over to the Freeway 2100 North and Pioneer Crossing. Thinking of a kitchen remodel? Durden's matches every competitor's price, and you get rebates on single appliances or whole kitchen appliance packages. Durden's also offers next-day delivery on Fifth South and Bountiful or DurdensAppliance.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
So today we have a chance of thunderstorms. That should be later today with a high of 95, a little cooler than yesterday. In fact, we'll stay in the 90s for the rest of the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow, 94 for a high with that chance of thunderstorms sticking around. Our coolest day of the next 7 is Saturday. Saturday we'll still have some clouds at 93 degrees, but then the clouds move out and we're at 94 on Sunday, back up in the high 90s for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. This morning we have some clouds at 81 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time now is 6:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
We're hearing from a cafeteria worker who tried to help a 12-year-old boy who died after police say he was abused and starved for years.
KSL was first to get the story, and KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the latest details. Adam?
Amanda, Jan Davis was working at Gavin Peterson's school 2 years ago where she said she would see him dig through the garbage to try and find food. She tells KSL TV she and another worker started paying for his lunch until she says Gavin's stepmom, Nicole Scott, found out.
She was really upset, and we were to stop paying for his school lunches.
Davis says Gavin eventually started stealing other kids' food because he was so hungry. She says she and other school workers made reports to the Utah Division of Child and Family Services, but it's unclear how much they were able to do before Gavin died earlier this month.
The system is broken.
Gavin's stepmom, as well as his father and brother, are now being charged with child abuse homicide. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We're finally getting a bit of a break from those triple digits. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit is live with more details. Michael?
Tim, we've been hitting and staying above the 100 degrees for a little while now, but it's starting to cool off just a little bit. It's slight, but glass half full. It'll only get up to about 95 degrees for a high today, and that's actually going to be the peak high for the rest of the week. From here to Sunday, we're doing a warm cruise in the mid to low 90s, and we may even see some thunderstorms today and tomorrow as well. And those could be needed, because despite the cooling, several fires broke out across Utah yesterday. Wildfires scorched Dicker Hill in Summit County and Hop Valley at Zion National Park. And in the cities, a dumpster fire lit up in Lehi, and a house fire happened this morning in West Valley City. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
Let's get more on that house fire. A house and some sheds were damaged, and 4 people are looking for a new place to stay after a fire in West Valley last night. West Valley Fire Battalion Chief Brandon Howard says the flames were about 20 to 30 feet high when they arrived. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
A couple of people were injured while watching fireworks in a park in Layton last night. Fire Battalion Chief Jeremy Stell says one of those fireworks likely tipped over before shooting into the crowd.
There was 2 minor injuries, and I'm thinking at this point nobody's even going to be transported to the hospital.
The fireworks were legal and being lit in a designated zone.
KSL's top national stories. This hour, President Biden expressed his gratitude to the American people last night in an 11-minute Oval Office address. ABC's Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein says the speech and the president's decision will help define his presidency.
He bought himself some goodwill, certainly in the treatment by history for what essentially is a selfless act. He could have done something that would have essentially been more selfish and said he's staying in despite everyone telling him to get out, and he chose to walk away. That is a powerful and rare rare moment in politics.
Klein says the president's close circle helped him decide it was time to step aside.
Thousands of people gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. ABC News chief national correspondent Matt Gutman was there.
It had started peacefully, thousands thronging the Capitol Hill area, demanding an end to the war in Gaza and Benjamin Netanyahu's arrest. Blocking their route to the Capitol, where Netanyahu was speaking, were miles of barricades backed by thousands of officers, including SWAT teams. The march stalling at Union Station, where protesters began pulling American flags down from the flagpoles. Officers moved in and were swarmed by the crowd.
At least 9 people were arrested.
First look traffic now on your Thursday morning, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
And right now, if you're traveling through Salt Lake County, I-15's clear. The earlier slowing in Roy is gone, and a couple of emergency vehicles, maybe all of them, have driven away from the lane block that we had on southbound Redwood going over the top of I-80. So things have calmed down quite a bit. They never got that busy, but they've calmed down. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Delta says they will be reimbursing passengers who had to book flights with other airlines because of canceled flights related to Friday's worldwide computer outage. The airline also says all flights should be back to normal at some point today.
More than 10,000 domestic flights were delayed or canceled Tuesday, according to FlightAware.com, a flight tracking website. At Salt Lake City International Airport, about 1/4 of arrivals and departures were affected. Yesterday, only a handful of flights were canceled and less than 150 flights were delayed. Airport spokeswoman Nancy Vollmer.
They are recovering, and I can't speak for any airline in particular, but just looking at the statistics for today, it's much better than it was.
Vollmer adds that the Salt Lake Airport continues to rank among the best in the country for having flights on time.
Provo City held a big party last night to celebrate Utah being officially announced as the host of the 2034 Winter Games. KSL TV's Andrew Adams was there at the Peaks Ice Arena, which was an Olympic venue in 2002.
What excites everyone is the constant.
It really invokes that spirit of coming together.
That Olympic spirit that lights the fire within.
You're part of something. It's a movement that's making a difference.
The general feeling in the venue was excitement and readiness to host the games again.
Here's another Utah Olympic connection. A new facility in South Jordan's going to be the training ground for BMX freestyle athletes, including those participating here in Paris. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has the story.
BMX freestyle became an Olympic sport in 2020, and since then it's been surging in popularity. Seeing the need for a place that these athletes could seriously practice, USA Cycling partnered with a number of local organizations to construct this state-of-the-art training facility in South Jordan. Organizers say there's nothing else like it in the U.S. when it comes to size and variety of obstacles for the athletes.
The training facility has been complete since March and was kept under wraps while Team USA's Paris Olympians were training. But now the company that runs the facility says it will also be used to develop future Olympians and host national events.
I think some folks are just taking the rest of the week off, Tim. And can you blame them?
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
It looks like we've got a little bit of congestion, but certainly not anything like we usually do. We'll check traffic and weather together coming up next.
Listen to KSL for news to get exactly what you want.
Stories about what's going to affect me.
Traffic. If I want to know now, I'll go to KSL Radio.
Hear the important stories, the stories that affect you.
On KSL News Radio.
That precious cool air inside your house shouldn't be seeping out through old drafty windows, but if it does, get stylish new windows and frames at factory direct pricing from Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Advanced Window Products has been building windows here in Salt Lake City for 38 years, but even if you don't need windows, they can give your interior a fresh new look with blinds, shades, and shutters from Graber. They offer custom crafted window treatments featuring the trendiest designs, premium materials, and quality without compromise. Advanced Windows offers start-to-finish service with shorter lead times so you get your custom blinds, shades, and shutters sooner. Call them for a free in-home consultation with their designers. It's a no-pressure experience, and if you need new windows, $2,500 off on 10 windows or more, or if you need window treatments, it's Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindowsusa.com.
Welcome to Staples, young man.
Tomorrow's my big day.
Big day?
First grade.
Aw. Well, Staples has crayons, markers, glue.
I need a laptop.
Oh, yeah, sure. With Staples Hot Deals, you can save up to $300 on select PCs for school.
Wait. The finances are Mom's department.
Right.
I'm looking for performance, like a Core i7 processor.
Boy, first grade has really changed.
Tell me about it.
Save big on tech for school with super low Staples Hot Deals. Right now, get up to $300 off select PCs at Staples. Ends 8/24.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Fireworks last night, some injuries, but doesn't sound like we had any new fires started from those fireworks, although there are some new fires to talk about. We'll continue to follow both of those stories for you this morning.
Right now it's 6:39. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy?
Amanda traveled through Salt Lake County on I-15, clear on the freeway, about a 20-minute drive. If you're going to be on State Street, you might take a little bit extra time between 78th and 90th South just because of road work in the area. No issues right now on Bangerter, even in the road work around 4700 South. Mountain View's got southbound waiting in West Jordan around 7800 South. Heather?
No waiting up in Weber and Davis County. You've got good speeds on I-15, US 89, Legacy Parkway, both northbound and southbound. City streets are getting a bit busier now in Ogden, especially Washington Boulevard, and that's heading south toward 20th Street. But no accidents reported right now. Eric?
Seeing a smidgen of extra congestion northbound SR 36 in Tooele County at Lake Point, right as you try to get onto I-80. We'll see if that develops into anything more. I-15, Utah County moving along at a regular rate of speed. Mountain View Corridor starting to fill in a little bit northbound from SR 73 as you head up towards Redwood Road. And then if you continue over to the freeway on 2100 North, that's not a problem so far for eastbounders. Get ready for memorable summer evenings with the Utah Symphony, July 5th through August 9th in Park City. Tickets are on sale now at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
95 today with afternoon sunshine giving way to evening thunderstorms. Overnight we'll go 73 with a clash of thunder possible in the early overnight, but by tomorrow morning, quiet. 94 for your afternoon on Friday with a slight chance for storms into the afternoon. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Boy, warm start to the day. It is 80 degrees now in downtown Salt Lake City.
Coming up in just a moment, we have a report from Matt Gephardt about how people are using the Olympics to try and steal your money.
Salt Lake or here in Paris?
I don't
Probably
know.
both.
We'll get the report just ahead on KSL News Radio.
All right, look forward to that report just ahead. But right now, Jeff Kaplan's, this is something we look forward to every morning, is here with his Minute of News, and it's brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
Let's face it, Fridays and Mondays, a lot of offices look like ghost towns. Here at KSL, those are the days I get princess parking. Right by the entrance, I sashay into work with a smile and say, hi, to the folks in the elevator, and nobody's there. If you work in an office, your employer likely understands this hybrid work thing, but if they could have you back in the office 5 days a week, chances are they'd take it. They won't issue edicts, but they will try to lure you back. Around the country, managers are offering bonuses, creating high-end coffee bars, and some companies are using smell, filling the office with glorious fragrances that you sniff as you walk in the door in the morning, but barely notice as you work your way through the day. And they can change the scent during the course of the day. There's a company called Scent Air that creates these fragrance systems. In essence, the Wall Street Journal says they give the office a nose job. One Texas office uses a signature fragrance made of 35 ingredients, including jasmine, which is said to improve happiness. There's sandalwood that alleviates anxiety. Great idea. But then you look on social media where employees complain these fragrances spark their allergies. One saying work turns him into a snotty mess. Which leaves me with the conclusion that when the boss tries to lure everyone back to work, fragrances smell of desperation.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, debunking 3 myths about fiduciaries. And you're going to be surprised about myth number 3. Myth number 1. Fiduciaries are too expensive. Not at Trajan Wealth. Our interests are aligned with yours, so we don't need to push costly investments. The more you make, the more we make. It's that simple. Myth number 2, they will only want to sell me something. Absolutely not. At Trajan Wealth, we have hearts of teachers, and it's our goal to educate and empower, not sell. And the biggest myth, myth number 3, fiduciaries are only for the wealthy. Not at Trajan Wealth. Whether you have 50 grand or 50 million, we know it was hard-earned and we'll treat it as such. Let's grow together. So, here's your opportunity for a 100% complimentary professional Q&A. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
And the news is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors. TrajanWealth.com.
KSL News Time, 6:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
wildfires flared up across Utah yesterday, but hopefully we won't see any more triple-digit days along the Wasatch Front for the rest of the week. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Kmet.
And second, 4 people are looking for a new place to stay after a house fire in West Valley overnight.
Third, traffic and weather together.
Traffic on I-15 is still clear of delays. That means you've got minimum travel times to your destination. Getting reports of a potential grass fire near Redwood Road and 201, although we haven't seen any evidence of that yet. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler today with a high of 95, but evening storms possible. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's 79 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
With a check of our top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden outlining his reasons for stepping aside in the 2024 election. He held an Oval Office address last night. ABC's Mary Bruce is at the White House this morning.
The president coming before cameras, explaining to the American people his remarkable decision to pass that torch. It is a move that not only will preserve his legacy, but now define it. Now, the president did make no mention, though, of how he got to this moment. No mention of those concerns about his age and mental sharpness that led so many Democrats to question his ability to serve another term. What the president did make clear to do more to tackle reproductive rights, and perhaps more than all, he wants to get out the vote for Kamala Harris.
Harris and Biden will meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu separately today. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump will meet with Netanyahu tomorrow. The bodies of 5 hostages retrieved from Gaza. The IDF says all 5 were killed October 7th. First Lady Jill Biden has arrived in Paris. She is greeting American athletes ahead of the Paris Olympics. This is ABC News.
Speaking of Paris, where we are broadcasting live from today, all eyes are on the games, which get underway. Actually, the events got underway yesterday, but the opening ceremony's tomorrow. Scammers know that people are watching.
KSL TV's Matt Gephardt has more on how fraudsters are trying to use the games to steal your money.
Long before the events are broadcast here on television or even streamed on NBC's Peacock app, there are sure to be clips of some of the major moments circulating online or in email attachments. Beware, warns Adam Lobb, a cybersecurity expert with Netrix.
It's a ripe opportunity for scammers.
Yeah, those email attachments can be laced with malware just waiting to be double-clicked to infect your computer. And those email links could take you to websites that are specifically designed to steal your personal information. Also, in the coming weeks, when you get on social media, you're probably going to see lots of posts of Olympic merchandise for sale. Again, beware. The Federal Trade Commission calls social media a golden goose for scammers. They say 1 in 4 people who reported losing money to fraud since 2021 lost it on social media. And the most frequently reported fraud loss is from people who tried to buy something marketed on social media. That one comes in at a whopping 44% of all social media fraud loss reports.
Just making sure that the things you're doing, procuring, etc. online are done so in as safe a way as possible.
To that end, experts say shop on official websites only and try to use a credit card so you can dispute the charges if you don't get whatever it is you bought.
Men's rugby competition getting underway from the Stade de France.
And self-serving as it may sound, with KSL being the official home of the Utah Games, the best way to avoid malware is to stream the Olympics through official broadcasters only.
You know, I bought things on Instagram twice, Tim, that never showed up, and now I've vowed to myself I will never shop on social media again
Yeah.
because you just don't know whether it will ever come or where it's coming from or if it's legit. So, no, just like he said, I'll go if I like something, go to the actual website and see if I can buy it from there.
Didn't you say you purchased things before that looked sizable online, and then they came over tiny? Or
Yeah,
was it
and
somebody else was telling me that?
If mine wasn't that, mine was I thought I bought some jewelry for Christmas presents, and when it got here, it was just plastic. And, and it looked like silver, and I thought it was silver when I was buying. And I bought it from a name brand, and so it must have been just a scam of some kind.
Yeah, and Olympics provide such an opportunity because there's people watching in every country around the world. That is an in-depth from our buddy over there, Gephardt, helping us out from TV. We appreciate that here on KSL. Matt Gephardt on the in-depth at 15 and 45. All right, time for us to get a look at the drive, traffic, and weather together. Brought to you again by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Andy, any problems this hour?
Not that we can see any slowdowns on the freeways so far in Salt Lake County. Construction might be the only reason that you have any kind of inconvenience, and especially on State Street through Midvale, that's been kind of an issue off and on this morning. Foothill beginning to slow at those intersections, 17th South, 2300 East as you go up towards Foothill and Sunnyside. Heather?
No delays right now in Weber and Davis counties, although traffic getting a bit thick, especially southbound as you make your way from Clearfield into Farmington and Bountiful. We're also seeing a bit more traffic on city streets, especially in Ogden on Washington Boulevard, but no accidents reported, and so you actually have a pretty smooth commute right now. Eric?
I-15 in Utah County moving along just fine. No problems from Provo to Point of the Mountain. That's a 20-minute drive. And then getting up to I-80 in Tooele County, we are seeing a little bit more congestion now on SR-36 going through Stansbury Park and getting up towards the Lake Park entrance. Lake Park entrance, Lake Point entrance, to get up to I-80. I-15, if you're out in Utah County, again, that is also in good shape. Transform your outdated kitchen with half-price granite. Granite, quartz, marble, and quartzite starting at $25 per square foot installed. Visit halfpricegranite.com. Affordable luxury. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine. By evening, we've got thunderstorms rolling on in. 94 for your Friday afternoon scattered thunderstorms. We'll go partly cloudy. 93 for a high on Saturday. That looks delightful. 94 sunny skies on Sunday. We'll go back to 97 sunny skies on Monday. Blue skies prevail on Tuesday, 97. Before you know it, we're back to 98 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's cloudy and 79 degrees, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I'll bet, Amanda, if I mentioned a song by the name of La Vie en Rose, people may not be familiar with it. You?
I do know that one.
All right. They know this, though. Famous French song. Why am I playing it for you this morning? Well, Celine Dion arrived in Paris yesterday. Lots of media coverage, lots of photos. I shared one on my social media. But then the rumblings were going around that Lady Gaga was also in Paris.
Oh, wow.
And it turns out Celine Dion and Lady Gaga will be singing this together.
Oh, that's awesome.
For opening ceremonies tomorrow night here in Paris. Will this be awesome?
Oh, I can't wait.
Anyway, I couldn't resist sharing it to you. The Parisians here very excited about it, and this is just a classic French song. And this was the original version of it.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. Opening ceremonies tomorrow night on KSL 5. Hey, a couple of years ago when I lost all that weight, that 35 pounds, I remember the first time after that I put a few pounds back on. I was like, 4 or 5 pounds. And I thought, okay, here we go. This is what's always happened before. I've lost a lot of weight. And then in 5 pounds turns into 10 pounds, turns into 20, turns into 30. And I'm right back where I started again. But not this time. Because this time I lost the weight with SOTA weight loss, SOTA weight loss. And I have a nutritionist who I can text or call anytime I want for the rest of my life to say, hey, I'm up 4 pounds. Can you help me get back down? And she'll give specific tips that will help me get right back to where I need to be.
Soda makes it so easy and convenient, but no injections, no pills. You don't go hungry. My daughter, of course, lost 42 pounds on this program, and you mentioned the key. It's that relationship with a nutritionist that you can reach out to, sometimes in text, sometimes with a phone call, an email, whatever it happens to be. And you can actually start that relationship today. Just go to sodaweightloss.com, click on Request a Nutritionist Callback, and within minutes you'll be talking to someone who truly wants to help you be in the best shape of your life. SodaWeightLoss.com. It's spelled SOTA, and it stands for State of the
Art. Trail mix, beef jerky, mixing all the soda flavors at the gas station soda machine. Snacks are better on the road. The gas is better when it's top tier. And the pit stop is better when there's a dinosaur there. Love the filler moments at a Sinclair gas station near you with DinoCare, our top-tier gasoline. Some sweet and salty snacks for the commute, and a big green dino for the memories. Find a gas station near you at SinclairOil.com. Sinclair, fill up your life.
All in together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We rope it up. Cause we know how to jump.
Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The NBA signed an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video after declining Warner Brothers Discovery's offer of $1.8 billion. The media rights deal will bring the league about $76 billion over those 11 years.
CrowdStrike is blaming a bug for the massive IT outage last week. It pushed bad data out to millions of computers, delaying flights, stopping digital payments, and disrupting hospitals. CrowdStrike says the problem was centered around an undetected error in the update. Well, I'm sure it was undetected, Tim. If they detected it, they would have fixed it.
Yeah, right.
That feels like a non-explanation explanation.
Good news today. Delta says that they should have everything back to normal, and Kara and I are grateful for that because we're flying Delta home on Saturday. It's almost time for back-to-school shopping. 70% of parents say it costs too much. A Wallet Hub survey found half of them say they expect to pay more for supplies this year, obviously.
We had a rough day on the markets yesterday, but today, so far, the futures are just flat. The Dow futures up 48, which is a tenth. The S&P off a fraction, 0.5. The NASDAQ futures up 4, which is also just a fraction.
We'll check traffic and weather together in just a minute.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics, and since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 385-766-1987. That's 385-766-1987. 385-766-1987.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
911, what's your emergency?
They kidnapped my son.
What would you do if your child disappeared and someone you trusted was responsible?
We thought he cared for McKay, when in fact he didn't care for anyone.
Listen to Ransom now at ransompodcast.com.
6:59 traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Andy.
Amanda, travel on I-15 is looking good, but for those of you who are heading out from I-15 towards Redwood Road on the 21st South Freeway, there's a grass fire on the shoulder, but fire trucks have just driven away, so I'm guessing they got it out. It never really caused much of a backup. There is some backup, though. Mountain View at 3500 South right now, and the 201 starting to slow eastbound near 5600 West. Heather?
No significant delays in Weber or Davis counties, but traffic is definitely filling in, getting a bit crowded on some of the city streets in Ogden, Roy, and Clearfield. You also see increased volume of traffic southbound I-15 between Clearfield and Farmington, but traffic is still lighter than normal for a weekday, especially on a Thursday. So we may still have some people off for vacation, not heading to work. Eric?
I-80 through the mountains looking solid once you go by the Kimball Junction exit, though you do have some eastbound slowing approaching Silver Creek. Along the Wasatch Back, US 40 is in good shape as well. No real problems on I-15 in Utah County. You're talking about a 22-minute drive northbound from Springville up to Point of the Mountain. Jordan Valley Water tells us water use is up about 10% compared to last year. If you want to use less water and keep your lawn looking healthy, water deeper, less frequently, and at night. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
I don't see any triple digits in the forecast for the next 7 days. 95 today, 94 on Friday, 92 on Saturday. And each of those days, a chance of precipitation, 40% chance this afternoon. Right now in Salt Lake City, starting the morning at 80 degrees in Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It is 7 o'clock on Utah's Morning News. Good morning. I'm Tim Hughes coming to you live from Paris, France today.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story on the 7 o'clock report.
The Paris Olympic Games opening ceremony will be happening tomorrow morning just before noon Utah time. But Salt Lake City and the state are still buzzing after learning we are going to host the 2034 Winter Games and remembering what it was like during the 2002 Games.
Just get down here and walk around all the people from all different countries and different languages and everything. It's just something to unite people.
And now we are already seeing a call for people to think about volunteering for the upcoming 2034 Games. KSL News Radio's Adam Small begins our live team coverage, Salt Lake 2034. Adam?
Amanda, while they need volunteers in general, the Utah Olympic Legacy Foundation says they're looking to start training technical volunteers sooner rather than later.
A range technical volunteer where you learn about the shooting and all of that, but then there's speed skating where you're going to be a corner judge or a timing or a lap counter.
Foundation's event manager, Mary Reiser, tells KSL TV they want these types of volunteers early so they can get the training they need between now and 2034. Reiser says they don't know for sure how many people they'll need, but she expects they'll need thousands of volunteers.
We couldn't host these events. We couldn't do it without volunteers.
Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We're learning more this morning about the Olympic doping investigation involving Chinese swimmers that was brought up by the International Olympic Committee before they voted to give Salt Lake the 2034 Winter Games. USA Today columnist Christine Brennan is criticizing Utah leaders who agreed to give the Olympic Committee the final word in any doping investigation.
I cannot believe that Salt Lake officials and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee didn't just say no. Now, what's going to end up happening here, I believe, is that it will be a rude awakening because I cannot imagine Congress taking too kindly to what the U.S. Olympic Committee and the Salt Lake officials just did.
Brennan says the FBI's investigation into the Chinese swimmers in the 2020 Games will now be dropped.
For those of you not up early yesterday morning, Utah's delegation and Governor Spencer Cox focused on unity and bringing people together.
There's a great author, somebody I admire, recently wrote that unity is not agreeing. Unity is not believing the same things. Unity is acting together. And that's what the Olympics allows us to do. It allows us to act together in competition, bringing out the very best in all of us.
The 2002 Olympic Games were held a few months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and the Games demonstrated that the world could come together. We have a lot more coverage of the Paris Games and the upcoming 2034 Games on our website, kslnewsradio.com.
Here in Paris, the state of Utah is well represented. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit continues our live team coverage. Michael?
Tim, nearly 40 Olympic athletes with connections to the Beehive State will be competing there in the City of Lights, and they're participating across a variety of events. If you're watching the time-honored track and field events, you'll see university athletes or alumni like BYU's James Corrigan, Utah's Josephine Erickson, or Utah State's Shari Hawkins that are going to be on the track. Matter of fact, runners from all over Utah will be seen there too, from Smithfield's Connor Mance to Whitney Orton Morgan from Panguitch. And as for some of the more modern events, Park City's Haley Batten is at mountain biking, Heber's Karch Kirelli is spiking the volleyball, and 5 different people from the Salt Lake City area will be scaling it and sport climbing. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
500 athletes, 36 countries, and 64 different youth groups are coming together to form Sport dans la Vie. It's a legacy organization to exchange ideas and best practices for young athletes.
KSL News Radio's Kira Hoffelmeyer is here in Paris with me this morning, and she caught up with the chair of the Utah Olympic Committee and multi-Olympic medalist, Catherine Rainey Norman.
We are just excited over the course of the next 10 years. One of our goals and objectives is to obviously try to share best practices with other partners, stakeholders, members of the international community, and do exchanges back and forth. And so to do this now, to start here in 2024, know that we have the French Alps in 2030, and then we finish in 2034 in Salt Lake. This is just such a lovely fit for us to be able to try to bring more opportunities to more youth from across the world.
6 of the athletes involved in the group are from Utah.
What we're hoping to do is obviously to continue to bring some of the kids over to the United States and then continue to provide our kids with opportunities to come back here over to Europe or to Asia, et cetera. And so we're still in the developing phases of it, but we do see that, again, opportunities similar to what we've done here today with our Utah delegation coming here to Paris, bringing kids over to Utah, and then doing forums. We're hosting a forum here later today where we're sharing best practices around legacy and sport for kids.
Didn't you love Kat's story yesterday, Amanda?
Oh, yeah, so much.
Because she started, I think, at age 2 figure skating and then got challenged by some boys and decided that she might be a speed skater. Yeah. Great story. But you can find more information on the games and videos of the athletes in Paris on our website, kslnewsradio.com, and on our various social media accounts.
First look traffic on the 7 o'clock report, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
And right now, traffic is moving just fine on I-15. The only traffic issue we've got is some flashing lights at the intersection of 21st South and Redwood Road, and so there's a little bit of slowing, a little bit more on the northbound side going underneath 201 and up some backups to try to get through that intersection. But freeways through Salt Lake, Davis, and Utah counties all moving at the speed limit right now. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather with Matt Johnson, who says we are finally going to stay several degrees below the 100-digit mark. And Matt says it's also peak wildflower season in our mountains.
The high Uintas, Timpanogos Basin up at the higher tops, Skyline Drive, and even Albion Basin. So if you're going to go check out some of these wildflowers, doing some hiking and exploring, have that camera ready.
Today's high in Salt Lake City should be a pleasant 95 degrees with a chance of thunderstorms.
We're awaiting an update this morning on the conditions of a pilot and passenger of a small plane that crashed into a Roy neighborhood on Pioneer Day. Here's KSL News Radio's Mark Jackson.
Pilot and passenger of a plane that crashed dangerously close to a house near 4500 South, 2350 West in Roy shortly before 4 on Wednesday are being treated for head injuries. KSL 5 reports there were no known significant injuries on the ground, but homeowner Anthony Bowles says they were lucky no family members were in direct path of that crash. He wasn't at home at the time, but other family members were.
We're definitely, I don't know how many people out there are religious, but a lot of people here were blessed today.
The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating. Mark Jackson, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories this hour. President Joe Biden says it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of leaders. Here is ABC's Lionel Moise.
In an Oval Office address,
it's been the honor of my life to serve as your president.
President Biden explaining his historic decision to withdraw from the presidential race.
Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition.
Biden praising his vice president, likely Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris.
She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable.
Without naming him directly, Biden seemed to take a jab at former President Trump.
Kings and dictators do not rule, the people do.
President Biden says he will spend the final 6 months of his term finishing the job he started.
All eyes are on the stock market today after yesterday's big drop.
Big tech led the sell-off, which ended with the worst day for Wall Street since 2022. The NASDAQ was hit the hardest, falling more than 3%.
I think this is the typical volatility that we're used to seeing. We haven't seen much of it this year.
Art Hogan, chief market strategist at B. Riley Wealth, isn't worried.
I think the fundamentals behind the economy and the market likely will provide for a recovery here.
And he thinks the Federal Reserve will cut rates come September. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
A new report says Utah has the highest number of stay-at-home parents in the country.
Having one parent stay home to care for kids has a lot of benefits, but LendingTree.com says the main driver here is financial, according to a new census survey. Childcare has just gotten too expensive, and it makes more sense for one parent to leave the workforce. But there are ripple effects. Hooper mom Cami Anderson's husband took several years off of work.
When he went back to work, it was almost difficult to find a job there for a minute, and he's a plumber. Like, they're all hiring. But everyone would look at his resume and be like, what the heck? Why were you not working for the last 5 years?
With more families in Utah living on a single income compared to the rest of the U.S., and with prices continuing to soar, many families here are in precarious situations. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Time for traffic and weather together here. Again, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app, where you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Andy, what's it looking like?
Well, we have a problem with some traffic lights at 21st South Redwood Road. They've been flashing red, and we still got delays. It's mostly for the northbound side coming underneath 201 and up to that 21st South intersection by the big post office. Haven't seen any 201 delays since it cleared out near Bangerter Highway a little bit ago, and I don't see any delays on Bangerter. Mountain View back to normal through 3500 South as well. Heather?
Well, after that earlier stalled vehicle southbound I-15 near Roy, everything has been moving at freeway speeds after they got that car moved off the freeway. So we haven't had too many problems in Weber and Davis counties. You're going to have good drive on I-84 through the mountains. No problems if you use Legacy Parkway or the West Side Belt to get to the airport. And city streets are quiet with no accidents. Eric.
A modest amount of congestion northbound SR 36 in Tooele County coming up to I-80 and then heading east towards the valley. If you're on I-80 into the mountains, that looks good except for some eastbound slowing between the Kimball Junction and Silver Creek exits. If you're down Utah County, no problem there from Provo to Lehigh. Hey, Utah County, Jones Paint and Glass is opening a new location in Payson. Be sure to come to their grand opening celebration on July 27th from 8 to 5. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL hourly forecast starting it out this morning very mild with cloudy skies, maybe even a chance for a sprinkle this morning, but temperatures at 7 a.m. in the upper 70s. By the lunch hour, we're talking sunshine, temps right around 90 degrees, and into the afternoon, cooler, 95 today, sunny skies, but by evening and nighttime hours, we've got thunderstorms rolling in. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in Salt Lake City, it's, 79 degrees.
There is a cool new thing that happens for Olympic athletes and their parents. Tim will tell us more about it coming up in a moment on KSL.
The man charged with the murders of 4 University of Idaho students is asking his lawyers to move the trial. Brian Kohberger's defense team is arguing he can't get a fair trial in the same county where the students were murdered.
The U.S. military responded when they picked up Russian and Chinese military aircraft flying close to Alaska.
NORAD fighter jets intercepted 4 Russian and Chinese bombers off the coast of Alaska on Wednesday, marking the first time ever that Chinese military aircraft have been intercepted off of Alaska. NORAD said the 4 aircraft did not enter U.S. airspace because they were flying through an area that stretches 150 miles from the coast of Alaska. Aircraft are required to identify themselves when they fly through that area, which triggers intercepts if they do not. The joint Russian-Chinese flight is another indication of the tightening military ties between both countries. Louis Martinez, ABC News, the Pentagon.
Cruise line Virgin Voyages is offering a promotion that allows kids to sail for free. The kids in question are between the ages of 18 to 26-year-old. The complimentary fares do come with conditions. The deal only lasts until August 23rd, and the trip has to be for this year.
A group of Boy Scouts returning from a camping trip used their newly learned skills after someone on their flight needed help. They assisted 3 doctors and a nurse trying to save a person in need of CPR.
16-year-old Ariel hopped up, so did 17-year-old Moshe Grimaldi.
We need to form a CPR line quickly.
The Scouts helping to perform CPR for over 40 minutes trying to get a pulse until the plane could make an emergency landing in Pittsburgh, at which time the flight attendant asked them to take their seats.
One of the doctors, in the calmest of voices, says, if we do that, this patient will die for sure.
The Scouts kept going until the end of the flight.
As we're sort of getting close to landing, they detect a pulse.
ABC's Lionel Moise reporting.
Trending this hour on the 7 o'clock report, today the first day of the San Diego Comic-Con. It is expected to be as loud and crazy as ever after years of pandemic struggles, cancellations, Hollywood strikes. There will be panels and lots of news from Deadpool and Wolverine, The Walking Dead, Lord of the Rings, Marvel Studios. The event expected to attract more than 130,000 fans, spending $165 million.
Cher is finally telling her story. The superstar will be writing a biography, and it will be in 2 parts. The first part will come out in November of this year. It will encompass her childhood and the beginning of her relationship with Sonny Bono. The next part will come out next year.
KSL News Time now, 7:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
local organizers are already calling on Utahns to volunteer for the 2034 Winter Olympics. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, a new report says Utah has the highest number of stay-at-home parents in the country.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
I-15 traffic is fine right now. No extra delays, no crashes. City streets not too busy, at least so far. We do have some malfunctioning traffic lights at 2100 South and Redwood Road. That's be treated as a 4-way stop, so there's some extra northbound delay there. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and evening thunderstorms. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time for a look at our top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Reaction continuing to come in to President Biden's Oval Office address. The president explaining why he is foregoing his re-election campaign. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce is at the White House this morning.
Overnight in the Oval Office, President Biden explaining directly to the American people his historic decision to bow out of this race.
I revere this office, but I love my country more.
Describing it as a patriotic necessity.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
One top priority, doing everything he can to help Kamala Harris beat Donald Trump.
She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable. She's been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country.
Today, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet with the president and the vice president in separate meetings. Yesterday, he addressed both houses of Congress while pro-Palestinian protesters marched in the streets of Washington.
Outside the Capitol, thousands protesting Netanyahu's visit, clashing with police facing volleys of pepper spray. Eventually, the march stalling at Union Station, where protesters took down American flags and raised Palestinian ones.
ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman. The nation's economy accelerated in the last quarter at a strong 2.8% annual pace. The Commerce Department says the GDP grew despite high interest rates engineered by the Federal Reserve to help tame persistently stubborn inflation. Dow futures up 50 points. This is ABC News.
Olympic athletes will get the chance to talk with loved ones immediately after competing.
Yeah, we talked earlier this morning with my friend Christy Nicolay, who was the head of the sport presentation team in 2002, but she's here in Paris on a different project. You know how we met each other in 2002 with sport presentation, but you're doing something fun here that most viewers, most listeners to this radio station probably don't know, but it is really cool.
It is super cool. It was, I believe it was the idea of Thomas Bach and Giannis from head of OBS, which is Olympic Broadcast Services. This idea came about for Tokyo 2020, which was 2021. But as soon as they announced that there would be no fans, they wanted to find an idea to connect the athletes to their families.
That was during the
families,
pandemic.
During the pandemic,
Yeah.
right. And so basically what it is we, I have a team of producers, and we have a whole tech team. Actually, yesterday I was in Brussels all day, in Belgium all day, because the tech team, the master control, is in Brussels. And basically what it is if you're an athlete and you just finished your competition and you have to go to the mix zone, we are the first stop in the mix zone. And we are like I would say it's like a mini TV station, like mini. It's a big screen, and there's sound, and the athlete stops, and then they can talk to their family. So
That is
imagine,
so awesome.
yeah. So imagine like it's kind of like a Zoom room, but it's the family, and they could have their watch party could join, and so the athlete can stop and be like, "Hey, mom, hey, dad," or their dog or whoever, and we get this little like emotional, special moment for the athlete to connect with their family. And it was, we first tried it in Tokyo. We did maybe 1/3 of the sports in Tokyo at a kind of a smaller team, and it was super successful. So we did it again in Beijing, but we did all the sports, and then here in Paris we're doing 35 sports, so all of the sports except 10.
And are those videos then available online somewhere?
They're for the rights holders, so the rights holders get them. So rights holders like NBC or whatever channel.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, Amanda, it's very emotional. And so for even these producers and the folks that are there along with the athletes, they get sort of drawn in on the emotion and the adrenaline that is pumping because these athletes have just come off the field of play. So it's an awesome thing that started out of necessity in Tokyo, but now is done at every Olympic Games.
I do remember the shots of the athlete talking to their families back home right after. So I hope they share more of those with us, with the viewing audience.
Yeah, and I'm unsure whether NBC makes those available online. I'll try and find out. I'll ask her if she knows, because you're right. It would be another one of those opportunities to kind of embed yourself in the games a little bit more than just watching on TV.
Yeah, because those stories are so powerful. Thank you for that, Tim. Right now, 7:19, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, right now in Salt Lake County, the only real problem we've got is a little bit of slowing at the 21st South Redwood Road intersection. More for northbound, but all four directions obviously have to treat it as stop signs instead of an intersection. Traffic is a little bit busy still on State Street near 7800 South and 90th South in Midvale Sandy. Heather?
We've got some unusual backup right now on Washington Boulevard. This is northbound right as you approach 40th Street. I don't know if the traffic light is not working or perhaps there's a crash in that area, but that's really the only delay that I can see in Weber and Davis County on any of the streets. Freeways are also at speed. You're less than 30 minutes to get from Ogden to downtown Salt Lake, whether you take I-15, Legacy Parkway, or US 89. Eric? Things are looking good in Utah County. You still have good speeds from Spanish Fork all the way up to the point of the mountain. Not too many issues coming out of Saratoga Springs or Eagle Mountain. You do have a little bit of congestion forming on 2100 North right around Wedwood Road and again as you approach I-15. And no problems getting into Park City this morning. Planning to remodel this summer? See the latest in stunning quartzite and granite countertops from Bedrock Quartz. With 7 locations across Utah, including a new Park City showroom. Visit bedrockquartz.com. I'm Heather Kelly with traffic in KSL News Radio.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine, but storms rumbling in for the evening. 94 on Friday, afternoon storms scattered in nature. Partly cloudy, 93 for your Saturday. How about 94 sunshine on Sunday? We keep the sunshine with high pressure building as we get into next week with highs in the upper 90s Monday through Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And let's see, right now in Salt Lake City, it is 79 degrees. The 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I just have to say, hats off to the KSL News Radio social media team. Holy cow, yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday. So, when I got home at the end of this incredibly long, exciting morning over there at Washington Square, I'm just flipping through Instagram, and I see the coolest videos, the coolest pictures of all of the events and all of the Olympic athletes who were there. And then they're still going at it following the Pioneer Day Parade and capturing all the excitement. And I thought, holy cow, if you're going to follow anybody on your social media, you should follow KSL News Radio because the social media team is just awesome.
Well, let me just say this, because Kira and I got to live it a little bit differently. Usually we're there on the front lines like you were at Washington Square, but because we're on the other side of the world right now, we got to see that drone show and bits and pieces of it through social media.
Yeah, right.
So I'm living it the way our listeners do sometimes, and especially people that don't live in Salt Lake City. So hats off. You're right to them because they've been busy at it and will continue to be so every day.
We'll get another look at money news just ahead on KSL News Radio.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Who Lives is a nonprofit organization with a goal described by the acronym WHO, providing clean water, better health, and economic opportunities to all people while prioritizing sustainability and self-reliance. Founder and Executive Director John Runard joins us with more.
So in 2010, I was on vacation in Africa when I saw these young girls missing school because they were forced to walk miles to fetch water for their families. I knew I had to do something. So I created the nonprofit Who Lives. For 10 months, I worked with local engineering students to create a human-powered water drill. Our village drill has now completed nearly 15,000 wells worldwide, empowering over 14 million people. Today, Who Lives is excited about our newest innovation, the Village Drill Hybrid, an electric drill that's even stronger and drills faster. But we now have way more requests for water than we have funds. So Who Lives is looking for businesses and even individuals to join with us to make a difference. So please consider making a donation or join us in Africa for an epic experience and safari. Again, we would love for you to get involved with our mission. Just visit us at wholives.org. That's wholives.org.
Just last year, Who Lives was honored with the Hunger and Poverty Award at the .org Impact Award ceremony for their innovative community solutions. Learn more or donate to support their cause at their website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. More parents are putting more money forward during the summer for childcare. The Federal Reserve says families now spend 1/5 of their income on childcare, an average of $800 a month. Holy cow.
Inside Out 2 has spread joy all over the world and is now the highest-grossing animated movie ever, believe it or not. It's made $1.46 billion in global ticket sales, outselling Frozen 2. It will make even more when it opens in Japan, which contributed nearly $33 million to the first movie's opening.
More people are struggling to pay their credit card bills. The number of people running behind on payments reached a 12-year high. The Philadelphia Federal Reserve says it comes as more people use credit lines for everyday essentials like groceries.
Just got some GDP numbers out that show the U.S. grew at a solid 2.8% annual pace in the second quarter. And jobless claims also show no sign of a surge of layoffs. So how do the markets interpret that? Yeah. The Dow's down about 4 points. The S&P is really just flat, and the NASDAQ is in the green after the big loss yesterday. It's up 22.5.
Boy, this does not look like a Thursday morning commute. I'm looking at the UDOT cameras, Tim, and it seems like some more folks are staying home, and good for you. Enjoy this week off if you have it off, but we'll check it anyway. Traffic and weather together coming up next. If you need to have some kind of equipment in your home worked on, maybe you've got a leak, so you've got a plumbing issue, or your water heater's going out, or you need to look at a new water softener, whatever it is, there is one company I really want to refer you to, and that is Superior Water and Air.
You know, we talk about it saving you money as far as having them come out on a regular basis and knowing your system, knowing your equipment, and doing regular maintenance. But we've also focused and had news stories about the cost of keeping that air running. So that's the other side of this, is you want to make sure that your system is running as efficiently as possible so that you get the best out of the money you are spending on your electricity. And Superior Water and Air can help you do just that.
They've saved me money. They've improved the health of my family by giving me tips, just things that I wouldn't know because I'm not an expert in this area, about things I can do to improve the quality of the air in my home, even setting me up with a home standby generator so my power will come back on if the lights go out.
They do a lot more than most people think for your family. Find out how they can help you. Make that call today and start the relationship we're talking about. 801-974-9090 or go to SuperiorWaterandAir.com.
In the dentist office, at the auto mechanic, or the restaurant lobby.
Just two of you today?
We do a lot of waiting, but of all the places we wait, I-15 may be the least enjoyable. Before you hit the road, check the road. Get traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. And leave the waiting elsewhere.
DMV number 432.
Mornings and afternoons on KSL News Radio.
And join KSL in the movie show tomorrow from 10 to 1 at the Salt Lake NPS store, 1600 Empire Road in Salt Lake City, npsstore.com.
KSL News Time now is 7:29. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. How we doing out there, Andy?
Well, we've got traffic slowing in a couple of spots. We've got some SR 201 slowdowns out by 7200 West, and we've got some slowing on Bangerter in that construction between 47 and 4100 South, the construction area that with the new traffic configuration seems to be slowing people down a little bit this morning. Heather?
No such problems up north in Weber and Davis County. You've got good speeds on the freeways, including I-15, I-84, US 89. City streets have a little bit of congestion in Ogden. Mostly I'm seeing that on Washington Boulevard around 40th Street, but overall you're going to have a good drive with no accidents reported. Eric?
15 East Belt traffic heading north from 6200 South. That's Knutson's Corner up to the mouth of Parley's Canyon. That looks good. I-80 through Parley's Canyon, no problems. And if you're westbound on 80 past Sugar House over to I-15, no trouble there. I-15 in Utah County, can't complain about the drive, no accidents or delays. Thinking of a kitchen remodel? Dern's matches every competitor's price, and you get rebates on single appliances or whole kitchen appliance packages. Dern's also offers next-day delivery on 5th South in Bountiful or DernsAppliance.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Let's get a look at that weather forecast today. 95 with a chance of thunderstorms. That chance of storms sticks around tomorrow, and we stay in the 90s for the rest of the 7-day. Let's see what our temperature is right now. Downtown, 81 degrees.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio,
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good morning. KSL News Time now, 7:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
We're hearing from a school employee who tried to help a 12-year-old boy who later died after police say he was abused and starved for years.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small joins us live with more. Adam?
Amanda, Jan Davis is a cafeteria worker at a school in West Haven where Gavin Peterson went before he passed away earlier this month.
You would see him digging through the garbage. And at that point, if the little kid is hungry, I'm going to buy his lunch ticket.
She exclusively tells KSL TV Gavin's mom, Nicole Scott, found out she and another worker were buying his lunch, and she claims Scott told them to stop helping him. Davis and other workers at the school did make reports of the red flags to the school and to the Division of Child and Family Services, but we don't know what they were able to do before Gavin passed away. Scott, along with Gavin's father and brother, have all been arrested and charged with child abuse homicide. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We're finally getting a break from the triple-digit heat, but the state is also dealing with an outbreak of fires. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live with that story. Michael?
Tim, we've been cooking for the past few weeks with consistent triple digits above the 100. In fact, yesterday's high of 105 degrees tied the record for the hottest Pioneer Day Utah's ever seen. But glass half full here, we're only seeing highs in the mid to low 90s for the rest of the week, and there's even a chance for a rain or thunder shower today and tomorrow. Still, despite the cool-off, fires broke out across Utah yesterday from Summit County to Zion National Park, and even a literal dumpster fire in Lehi. Reporting live, Michael Commit, KSL News Radio.
4 people in West Valley City don't have a home anymore after a fire overnight. Their home and 2 sheds burned. Fire Battalion Chief Brandon Howard says they brought in a lot of help to keep the fire from spreading.
Upon our arrival, we had about 20 to 30-foot flames behind the house behind me. It turned out it was very couple of parts. We had to kind of set up in 2 different divisions, attack it from 2 different sides to get it all extinguished, but we had a lot of help.
The fire was threatening other nearby homes. The cause of the fire has not been determined.
2 people in Layton were injured last night in a fireworks accident. City Fire Battalion Chief Jeremy Stell says a large crowd was lighting off fireworks at a park when something went wrong.
One of the fireworks malfunctioned, causing some of that to enter into the crowd space.
No other damage was reported.
KSL's top national stories this hour. President Biden spoke to the nation last night, talking about why he ended his re-election campaign. ABC News Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein weighs in on the speech.
Ultimately, time caught up with him. And to write that last chapter of public service on his own terms is pretty rare in an era where we see people serve in various capacities in government long beyond where they probably should be. And whether Biden reached that point or not, you didn't really hear that in his voice. He recognized that, as he said, it's time to pass the torch.
The president says the time has come for younger voices to be heard in Washington.
Thousands of war protesters gathered to protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman was there.
As Israel's prime minister was addressing Congress, just blocks away, clashes erupting between some pro-Palestinian protesters and the police. There was shoving, projectiles were thrown, and Capitol Police deployed pepper spray, saying protesters failed to obey police orders to retreat.
At least 9 people were arrested.
First look traffic now on your Thursday morning, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
We got a crash on the 3300 South on-ramp. It might have been in the main flow, and they moved it over to the shoulder, which is where the on-ramp merges on, because the slowing that was starting to creep in around 33rd South is cleared already. We do have some heavy traffic on Bangerter near 21st South, and we've got some malfunctioning traffic lights at Redwood and 2100 South. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Delta promises to have all their flights back to normal today after canceling thousands of flights since last Friday's computer problems.
Utah's largest airport wasn't hit as hard as many airports across the country when a software glitch left travelers stranded from canceled and delayed flights last week. Flight traffic website FlightAware.com showed 40 flights to and from Salt Lake City International Airport were canceled, and more than 250 departures and arrivals were delayed on Tuesday. Yesterday, less than 1% of flights had been canceled. Airport spokeswoman Nancy Vollmer.
The passengers have been very cooperative considering the trying circumstances, and we appreciate their patience as we work through some of these issues.
I'm Mike Martinez, KSL News Radio.
A big party was held in Provo last night at the Peaks Ice Arena to celebrate Utah getting the 2034 Winter Games. KSL TV's Andrew Adams was also there.
I know Salt Lake is already prepared. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with our locker rooms here.
Though the event is nearly 10 years out, skaters here know the state is already well prepared.
We've done such a good job maintaining our venues here in Utah. The people love it, so we are ready.
Speaking of venues, here's another Utah Olympic connection. South Jordan now the home to USA Cycling's new BMX freestyle training facility. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson reports.
The training facility was actually finished in March, but it was just unveiled this week as 6 cyclists from Team USA get ready to compete in Paris. Joe Serlin is the founder and president of Core Athlete, which runs this state-of-the-art unique facility.
The pure size of it is very unique. The ramp size as well as the footprint the building has with the ceiling heights. There's just no other place in the United States that has this style of course.
BMX freestyle has seen a huge spike in popularity since becoming an Olympic sport in 2020. Serlin says this new facility will be the training ground for Olympians as well as aspiring Olympians. They also hope to host national competitions. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
We do have one westbound crash reported on I-80 heading out to Saltaire, but no big delays there or anywhere, really. We'll check traffic and weather coming up next.
KSL in the palm of your hand.
When the app came out, I knew that I could stream the radio station directly through there.
I just checked there to see if there's anything pertinent. I regularly use the KSL app.
Get the app for KSL News Radio.
You know that you're going to buy a home. The question is, what lender should I work with? Realtors often boast about their preferred lender.
You know, if you use my preferred lender, you'll be in great shape.
But interest rates and closing costs are not the same at every lender. So before you go with your realtor's preferred lender, call Rick at Loans by Rick and get another breakdown of your closing costs and your interest rate. Call 801-809-SAVE or click loansbyrick.com. Loans by Rick will give you a comparison on your loan cost that may save you thousands of dollars in closing costs and get you a lower rate too. And when you have all the facts, you can decide who's the better lender for you. Rick closes over 90% of clients' loans in 12 to 22 days. That's amazing. Call 801-809-SAVE. That's 801-809-SAVE or click loansbyrick.com. 801-809-SAVE, loansbyrick.com. Rick Kirschenbaum, NMLS 241179 and Vintage Lending, NMLS 287106 are equal housing lenders. Some restrictions apply.
She wants a diamond, and you want to give her one. Sierra West Jewelers carries beautiful laboratory-grown diamonds with 90 pointers starting at only $499, 1 carat starting at only $789, and 2 carats start at $1,698. If it's fine jewelry you want, find it at Sierra West Jewelers, across from the malls in Sandy, Orem, and Murray, or at SierraWestJewelers.com.
Don't miss Bullfrog Spa's big factory sale this weekend only at the Expo Center in Sandy, with factory certified scratch and dents and even new hot tubs and swim spas as low as 50% off. Bullfrog Spas are the only hot tubs manufactured in Utah and the only spas personalized just for you with our patented Jetpack therapy system. Hurry in while deals last. Bullfrog Spa's big factory sale, Friday noon till 8, Saturday 10 till 8, Sunday 10 till 6 at Sandy Expo Center.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
Tim Hughes back live in Paris today. Amanda, you were talking about that it's a little bit quiet there on the roads, like many people probably snuck away for an extended weekend. I got the same vibe here in Paris, that maybe some of the folks that usually are working or on their way to work are out of town because the Olympics are here. Just a little quieter here in Paris as well this morning.
Wow, have you seen any stories about that? Were people leaving town instead of staying to go to the games?
I have not, but remember, we had a reporter on from ABC, and we asked her specifically because I said I was going to be over here, and she said, you sound like my Parisian friends who have all told me that they're going to leave town when the Olympics come.
Oh, they're missing out on it. That's too bad.
They really are. I mean, it's busy around Olympic gathering sites for sure, but
worth it.
Seems a little more quiet right now.
Right now it's 7:39. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Right now, Amanda, travel's backing up on the Mountain View corridor coming up on 3500 South. We've got a crash on the right shoulder on North 15 at the 3300 South on-ramp in South Salt Lake. And we've got some malfunctioning traffic lights at 2100 South in Redwood. Actually, you know, it looks like they got those lights working. I don't see them flashing anymore. So, that's good. Heather.
No accidents reported in Weber and Davis County, and no flashing lights that we've heard of either on any of the city streets throughout Ogden, Clearfield, Bountiful areas. You've got good speeds if you're going through the mountains on I-84 to and from Morgan, and still less than 30 minutes southbound 15 from Ogden to Salt Lake. Eric.
Some of the stoplights over on University Avenue in Provo, a little bit congested, but nothing major in the way of delays this morning in Utah County. I-15 looks good from Spanish Fork and Springville up to Thanksgiving Point. You're not going to run into any problems. You do have a westbound crash on I-80 reported about 3 miles before you get to Saltaire, but evidently that's not causing any delays. And on the eastbound side of I-80 coming out of Tooele County, that's looking good too. Experience the best at the Moran Eye Center, located in your neighborhood. Get the care you need for anything from dry eye to cataracts. Moran provides hope, understanding, and treatment for all. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL Pollen Report. We've got trees and mold into the low.
and grass and ragweed in the moderate. We'll probably keep it in the moderate with a chance to see high counts of allergens in the air as we head into your weekend. Also looking a little bit at the smoke there, we'll likely see it kind of hover the same levels in the moderate. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Let's see. Here in Paris, we've reached our high for the day. It is 3:40 in the afternoon at 83, and there in Salt Lake City, 79 degrees.
2 words I never thought I'd put together. Cocaine sharks.
Oh, no. New movie or reality here?
This is real.
Boy. Oh, boy.
Wait till you hear about this. Jim Ryan will join us next on KSL News Radio.
Before we get there, let's check in with Jeff Kaplan and his Minute of News. It is brought to you by the law offices of Jordan Wilcox.
As the Olympic Committee hopscotches around northern Utah viewing the various Olympic venues, our one ace in the pocket is the condition of the facilities from 2002. These 9 IOC members could have stayed home and watched videos of these venues, but they needed a closer look for a reason that might best be summed up in one word: Sarajevo. Sarajevo, a beautiful city in a now non-existent nation. But in 1984, Sarajevo hosted the Winter Games where an East German figure skater named Katarina Witt stole the show.
And the leader now coming into her 4-minute long program. This is the name of the game right here.
Here in America, we were used to seeing thick-muscled communist women shot up with steroids, but this was different. Katarina Witt was pretty.
It seems that the beauty that this girl has, this natural beauty, she has the face that where you would just die.
In America, the paradox short-circuited the brains of a lot of young men. She's cute, but she's a communist who won gold.
Very nice, very nice.
After the games ended, war came to Bosnia in the 90s, and Sarajevo was ground zero. The Olympic bobsled track became an artillery position. The Olympic Village was turned into a prison. Outside the bombed-out arena where Katarina Witt skated for the world, the parking lot is now a cemetery for the war dead of Sarajevo. So these IOC members are in northern Utah, keenly aware of what's happened to other such cities after their moment in the sun. But here, the figure skating arena is about to host a new NHL team.
And now, Earth, Wind, and Fire!
The stadium where Earth, Wind, and Fire played the closing ceremonies is freshly expanded. Most important, as Fraser Bullock told us this past week, the IOC visit went well. He said you could see the happiness in the visitors' faces.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
That precious cool air inside your house shouldn't be seeping out through old drafty windows, but if it does, get stylish new windows and frames at factory direct pricing from Advanced Window Products. This is Jeff Kaplan. Advanced Window Products has been building windows here in Salt Lake City for 38 years. But even if you don't need windows, they can give your interior a fresh new look with blinds, shades, and shutters from Graber. They offer custom crafted window treatments featuring the trendiest designs, premium materials, and quality without compromise. Advanced Windows offers start-to-finish service with shorter lead times so you get your custom blinds, shades, and shutters sooner. Call them for a free in-home consultation with their designers. It's a no-pressure experience, and if you need new windows, $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Or if you need window treatments, it's Advanced Window Products. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindowsusa.com.
Encounter an out-of-this-world lunar landscape at Craters of the Moon during its 100th birthday celebration beginning in May. There's nothing like it on Earth. Learn more at visitidaho.org.
KSL News Time, 7:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
wildfires flared up across Utah yesterday, but hopefully we won't see any more triple-digit days along the Wasatch Front for the rest of the week. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Kmet.
Second, investigators are trying to find out what caused a small plane to crash into a neighborhood in Roy.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
They got the traffic lights fixed at 21st South and Redwood Road. We still have some slowing on 201 out about 7200 West, and a crash on the right shoulder of North 15 just as you merge on from 3300 South. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler today with a high of 95, but evening storms possible. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Time to check in with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Biden delivering a speech to the nation from the Oval Office saying it's time to pass the torch as he gives up his 2024 re-election bid in favor of Vice President Kamala Harris, who still has not decided on a vice presidential candidate.
Harris will have to choose a running mate, and she will have to do it fast. Sources tell ABC News she is considering a pool about roughly a dozen Democrats. That includes Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and also Arizona Senator Mark Kelly.
ABC's Rachel Scott. The U.S. economy accelerated in the last quarter at a 2.8% annual rate. Consumers and businesses helped drive the numbers despite pressure from those high interest rates. For more than 50 years, Southwest Airlines has not had assigned seats. You line up at the airport and pick your own seat when you get on board. Well, now the airline says it's ending that tradition because more passengers have been asking for it. Southwest also offering red-eye flights for the very first time ever beginning in February. This is ABC News.
Let's go in depth here. This is weird. It's science, not science fiction. Cocaine sharks are showing up around Brazil.
Joining us live is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. What in the world is a cocaine shark?
Well, yeah, Amanda, that's kind of what scientists were looking for. They were trying to find out whether, in fact, the burgeoning cocaine industry there in Brazil, specifically in Rio de Janeiro, is affecting the wildlife. The cocaine, the theory went, is running off in the sewage system in the same way that the CDC in this country now is measuring COVID in any community by looking at its sewer and testing the water. That was the suspicion that cocaine, 22% of the world's cocaine is consumed there in Brazil. And so the thinking was that it was getting into the sewer system, that also you had runoff from the illegal laboratories that produced the stuff. And sure enough, a sample of 13 Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks turned up. Every one of them, each of them had cocaine in its system, in its muscle, in its liver, in the blood. And so yeah, I think they suspected that would be the case, but researchers were shocked to find how pervasive it appears to be.
Wow. And, you know, we've had stories, multiple stories through the years of bunches of cocaine that were trying to be smuggled in, end up on a beach somewhere. I guess it makes sense that not just sharks, but other marine animals could consume them along the way.
Well, absolutely. And, yeah, that's you do hear about that occasionally. The drug smugglers, they're about to get caught. They dump the stuff overboard, and it ends up in the water. But the scientists who looked at this phenomenon don't think that's what it was. They believe that it's coming from the effluent, the stuff that flows out of these sewage plants into the Bay of Rio de Janeiro and then out into the ocean there where these animals live. They spend their whole lives swimming in that stuff. And then that long-term exposure is apparently what's led to these high concentrations of cocaine in the blood, the muscle, and the liver.
Now that they know that, is there anything they can do about it?
That's the great question. What do you do about it? Nothing. I mean, there's not much you can do about it, really. Certainly, they want to see whether the behavior or the health of these animals is affected. They also want to see, Amanda, whether other animals might be affected by this, because in past studies, Great Britain, for example, they found illicit drugs and pharmaceuticals in samples of freshwater shrimp off the coast of England. So wow. It's likely that other animals are swimming around with cocaine in their systems.
Yeah, we don't need sharks being any more aggressive because they're hopped up on cocaine. That wouldn't be a good thing. Jim, as always, great to have you. Thank you for your time again this morning. Jim Ryan joining us there on the In-Depth at 15 and 45. Time to look at the drive. If you are making your way in this morning, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Back to Andy Farnsworth.
Tim, we got a crash on the right shoulder, 33rd on-ramp to I-15. Main flow of I-15 slowing a little bit right after you go past the 215 overpass. And Bangerter's getting slow in that construction going from 54 to 4700 south. Heather?
We've got a bit of slowing right now in Ogden. This is southbound I-15 between 12th and 24th Streets. I haven't heard of a crash in the area, but there may have had one that just happened. But once you get past it, by the time you get to 31st Street, you're back up to freeway speeds all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. If you need to get to the airport and transition onto Legacy Parkway or the West Side Belt, those are both traveling at speed as well. Eric?
And you're at a normal rate of progress if you're northbound I-15 in Utah County. From Spanish Fork to Point of the Mountain, that's a 24-minute drive. 2100 north starting to get busy in Lehigh from Redwood Road over to the freeway, particularly approaching that 2300 west intersection. Get your lawn off to a good start with Revive Organic Soil Treatment. Greener grass using less water. Spread or spray. Revive Organic Soil Treatment available at your favorite garden center or revive.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Tim, I don't know if you saw pictures of Matt Johnson on social media yesterday.
Hey, I want to know where he got those shorts.
That's what I want to know. Where he got the shorts, Matt.
Well, I talked to the gentleman that is in Napoleon Dynamite. Do you remember his pants?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's so fun fact. It's actually a swimsuit.
Oh.
But it looks like regular shorts.
It does.
So I just wore them. So, anyways, got it off. I believe I got them off Amazon. So, all right, 95 today with a chance for storms in the late evening. So most of today is dry. We'll go 94 tomorrow. Garden variety pop-up storms across the state. Then Saturday's dry, 93, a little bit breezy there. 94, sunny skies on Sunday. And headed into next week, mid and upper 90s, sunny skies with high pressure trying to build back. But how about a 7-day for once where there's not a triple digit to be found? So.
Please tell me you wore those red, white, and blue shorts on the set.
Oh, he did.
Oh, I sure did.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. All right, now I'm happy. I thought maybe they were just for the parade, but I'm satisfied if you actually put them on camera. Let's see. Salt Lake City right now back to 79 degrees. It's 83, by the way, here in Paris, France this morning.
Discover the best of senior living at Trio Orem and Trio South Ogden. Today's older adults aren't wrapping up their life's journey, they're seeking a new one. And Trio Independent Living is here to help them do just that. With a smart, modern, and connected lifestyle, residents cultivate relationships and maximize independence through signature programs like Prime Fit Wellness that bring living well and well-being to life. Welcome to the new age of senior living. Schedule your visit at leisurecare.com/Utah today.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Watching Utah's Money this morning is brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. Stellantis says they will focus on North American sales after a plunge in first-half earnings. Net profits were down by half in the first 6 months of the year, due largely to the lower sales and restructuring costs.
You don't have to worry about sitting next to a random person on Southwest Airlines anymore. The company is moving to assigned seating. It allows the airline to charge for a premium for some of the seats on the flights. I know a lot of people who liked that, though, being able to just walk on and sit wherever you want.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to do away with the stranger sitting next to you.
No.
If you're flying alone, somebody you don't know is going to be sitting right there anyway.
Right.
This is good news for Disney fans. Disneyland has avoided what would have been its first strike in 40 years. I know behind the scenes they have been training some of the other employees to be ride operators and work in parades and things like that to try and make sure that their bases were covered in case of this strike. The park, however, reached a tentative agreement with 14,000 workers and comes after 4 months of negotiations.
Let's get a look at your money at this moment. In the first half hour of trading, the Dow is up 181. We're back over 40,000 to 40,035. The S&P is down 4, just a fraction. The NASDAQ is still headed down. Look at this. The NASDAQ down 107. It's at 17,234 right now.
Got a little bit of northbound brake tapping, too, on I-15 between the two Springville exits and going from Midvale to Murray. Looks like the usual stuff. We'll check it next.
I don't know when the last time was that you saw my 19-year-old son, Tim, Ethan. But Ethan, as some of the listeners know, he's a tall kid. He's, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
And he weighed about 220, 225. But in the last few months, he's lost about 30 pounds. He's down to around 190.
Really?
And he looks great, but more importantly, he's eating healthier and sleeping better and waking up earlier. And all of this, now, this is the thing that when you go on the SOTA weight loss program, you're doing it for yourself, but you don't realize the effect that your living healthier will have on your family. That when I started eating smarter and shopping at the grocery store smarter and making, better meals, that had an effect on the health, not just of me, but of my son and my family, who had picked up some of my bad eating habits before I learned to do better with the nutritionist at SOTA Weight Loss.
And look, we're not talking about a diet here. As you said, it's a change in the way what your relationship is with food, and you just find out about all the hidden sugars. It doesn't mean you got to give up salad dressing on your salad or any of some of the favorite foods you eat. It just, you change how much you eat, when you eat, and they can help you with the help of a great nutritionist. You can start that relationship right now. Just click on Request a Nutritionist Call Back at SOTAWeightLoss.com, and within minutes, you'll be talking to someone who truly wants to help you get in the best shape of your life. Again, it's SOTAWeightLoss.com, spelled SOTA, and it stands for State of the Art.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Every so often in medicine, something comes along that is truly revolutionary.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, former orthopedic surgeon, now National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
I believe this is one of those things.
Dr. Scheinkup is talking about regenerative medicine, something he's practiced, researched, and written about for nearly 2 decades.
The old ways of dealing with joint pain, such as steroids and surgery, are no longer the best ways.
If you have pain from arthritis or injury, you owe it to yourself to learn more about this exciting option, using your own body's natural power to get lasting relief. And there's no better place to learn than QC Kinetics.
There is no one in this country today with more clinics, more satisfied patients, more advanced protocols, or more experience in using this exciting option to deliver life-changing results.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 385-766-1987. That's 385-766-1987. 385-766-1987.
7:59, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back to you, Andy.
Amanda, we got some wet roads over Point of the Mountain. A little bit of rain falling in that part of the south end of Salt Lake County. And then you've actually got a little bit of brake lights on the main flow itself and near 53 and 4500 south. Bangor better than a typical weekday, but still a little bit slow coming down the hill between 54 and 4700 south. Heather?
We do have a crash southbound I-15 before 24th Street in Ogden. The vehicles are over on the right shoulder, but a lot of people are moving out of that right lane to give UHP safe room to work there. That has traffic backed up to 12th Street. Once you get past it, you've got good speeds into Salt Lake City and no other issues reported in Weber and Davis counties. Eric?
Other than the rain in the north part of Utah County, we're not seeing any problems on the roads out there. From Provo to Point of the Mountain, that's still a 20-minute drive. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing exceptional service from 4 dealers: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See performancebountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Wow, that is great to hear. We've already got some rain falling. About a 40% chance throughout the day today, 20% tomorrow, 20% on Saturday, and the temperatures dropping into the lower 90s. Right now, it's 79 degrees in Salt Lake City to start the day.
KSL-FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Well, good morning. KSL News Time now is 8 o'clock. This is Utah's Morning News. And again this morning and for the rest of the week, Tim Hughes coming to you live from Paris, France.
And I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour.
We're hearing a heartbreaking story from a cafeteria worker who tried to help a 12-year-old boy who later died after police say he was abused and starved for years.
KSL was first to get the story, and KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the latest details. Adam?
Yep, maybe we just lost him.
It sounds like we did. We'll try and reconnect with Adam.
We're finally getting a bit of a break, as we mentioned a moment ago, from the triple-digit heat, but we've seen several new wildfires start up around the state. KSL News Radio's Michael Commit joins us live. Michael?
Tim, we've been hitting and also staying in the 100-degree plus for the last little while, but now we're starting to cool off. It's slight, but glass half full. It'll only get up to 95 degrees for a high today, and that's actually going to be the peak high for the rest of the week. And from here to Sunday, we're going to be doing a warm cruise into the mid to low 90s, and we may even see some thunderstorms today and tomorrow as well. And those could be needed because despite the cooling, several fires broke out across Utah yesterday. Wildfires scorched parts of Summit County and Hop Valley down in Zion National Park. And back in Lehi, there was a literal dumpster fire that lit up as well. Reporting live, Michael Kimmett, KSL News Radio.
Some criticism this morning for Utah's deal with the International Olympic Committee to give the committee the final say into doping investigations. USA Today columnist Christine Brennan says the FBI was investigating accusations of Chinese swimmers doping in the 2020 Games, and now that investigation will be dropped.
And so while you had Katie Ledecky an hour and a half earlier in a press conference talking about the importance of clean sport and cleaning up sport and doping, one floor and 90 minutes later, you had these officials caving in to demands from the International Olympic Committee for them to get rid of the investigation into something that Katie Ledecky, Michael Phelps just testified in front of Congress, that they care so much about.
Utah's Olympic bid delegation says they worked tirelessly over the past few weeks to find a resolution with the Olympic Committee, which had the potential to derail Salt Lake's bid. If you weren't up super early yesterday morning to hear Utah's pitch to the International Olympic Committee, it was filled with messages of unity. Here is Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall and President of the Olympic Bid Committee, Fraser Bullock.
For the Games and for the sport to unite us across all boundaries.
We work together well in Utah. Doesn't matter what political party. You put that aside as we go forward to welcome the world.
The 2002 Games were held, as you'll remember, just a few months after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and they helped bring the country and the world together.
I'll tell you, it's kind of surreal to be here in Paris, France, and have so many familiar faces and names with us. Owner of the Utah Jazz and chairman of the Smith Entertainment Group, Ryan Smith, made his way to Paris. KSL News Radio's Carol Hoffelmeyer caught up with him when he told reporters Utah is set to be one of the elite sports states in the U.S.
When you have the fastest growing state and the youngest demographic, in every other business, you bet on those people. Actually, the amount of brands in the world and technology in the world that are trying to find a region or a demographic that's young, that's growing, that's fast. And then I think what makes Utah different is just the people. I mean, the fact that there's this many people coming out, and all of us have one thing in common: we want to build our state. And that's not that we want more people to come to Utah. It actually is more that, for whatever reason, life's happened to everyone who's here, and so many back home, where they feel like they carry that Utah flag. And that's what makes Utah different, is that, if you would have told me 20 years ago that the majority of my life would be, in one way or another, promoting our state, whether it's through sports or something else, I didn't sign. It's just the way it goes, but it's authentic because I love Utah and I love the people of Utah.
Smith says the addition of Utah's new NHL hockey team will only add to the state's appeal. You can read a lot more on the Paris Games and the 2034 Games on our website, kslnewsradio.com.
Let's go back to KSL News Radio's Adam Small, who reports on local organizers already calling on Utahns to volunteer for the 2034 Games. Adam?
Yeah, Amanda, Utah Olympic Legacy Foundation event manager Mary Reiser says they're looking for volunteers in general, but they specifically want technical volunteers earlier so they can get the training they need between now and 2034. She tells KSL TV these are people who would work more intricate events like, say, the biathlon or speed skating, where you might have to time lapse or be a corner judge.
It's going to be key. We need people to understand the sport, and especially on that technical side, we need people to come and learn it.
Reiser says they don't know for sure how many volunteers they're going to need for 2034, but she expects it's going to be in the thousands. Live, Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
And he's now back with us with your first look traffic.
Well, traffic's only slow in a couple of spots on the freeway. It's not even really that slow. Well, you've got some wet road conditions in your point of the mountain, and then it's really heavy around 5300 and 4500 south. The southbound drive a little bit slow in Ogden right now between 24th and or 21st and 24th Streets, but it's clear by the time you hit 31st Street. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL KSL's top national story this hour. President Joe Biden addressed the American people last night, talking about his withdrawal from the presidential race.
America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division.
ABC News political analyst Steve Roberts says the president made his case for the need for a new generation of leaders.
By this decision, he has injected enormous energy into Democratic ranks. Democrats had one of the best fundraising days ever in history after he announced he was pulling out. Harris has had good crowds where she's been campaigning.
Former President Donald Trump is also addressing Biden's speech last night.
Trump slammed the address, saying crooked Joe Biden's Oval Office speech was barely understandable and so bad.
If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Back on the campaign trail Wednesday at a rally in Charlotte, now going after Harris.
The most incompetent and far-left vice president in American history.
ABC's Lionel Moise reporting from the campaign trail.
Federal investigators trying to find out why a small plane went down and crashed into a Roy neighborhood on Pioneer Day. Video shows the plane crashing into a tree in a family's yard.
Coming up in just a moment, we'll get another look at some southbound slowing at Ogden on I-15, but the rest of the way through Weber and Davis counties looks good. Traffic and weather together coming up.
Spend your workday with a talk show that makes you feel better about the news.
Debbie is the voice of reason, and Dave reminds me of my little brother. Well-spoken, and they're a great team together.
Dave and Debbie, live from 9 to noon, or podcast the show on the app for KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright, the Other Night DNI. On opening night, by the way, we had the chance to see The Nutty Professor, which is playing right now at Hale Center Theater. By the way, it continues on through August 17th. This was so much fun. For those of us who love the old Jerry Lewis movie, boy, it has ties to that. And the music of Marvin Hamlish is incredible. And the way it's staged at Hale Center Theater is simply a delight. Do not miss your chance to see The Nutty Professor. It's on the stage right now. And of course, The Time Machine is also showing. That will continue through July 20th, and it too is so wonderful. There is always something amazing awaiting you on the stages at Hale Center Theater. The Addams Family coming up in August. We've got The Magician's Elephant, and of course, the classic Beauty and the Beast. Get your tickets now. Simply go to hct.org. And by the way, for current season ticket holders, it's time to renew now at Hale Center Theater.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
We all know what UV rays can do to our skin, but they can also do damage to your car. Keep that from happening with 303 Protectant. 303 Protectant keeps the sun's harmful rays from causing fading and cracking in rubber, plastic, or vinyl surfaces. From the dashboard to the tires, 303 Protectant keeps your car looking new longer. Get 303 Protectant today at Advance Auto Parts. Visit 303radio.com for more information.
Tim Hughes, just want to give another shout-out to Kara Hoffelmeyer, who has been shadowing all of our Utah Olympic dignitaries that are making their way around doing various things today. She's been with them in Paris. And I might note this, the day before the opening ceremonies, a notable increase in the security measures, particularly around where we're staying in downtown Paris, because just around the corner from us are where all of the IOC members happen to be staying. So we'll have continuing coverage throughout the day tomorrow, taking you right up to opening ceremonies. KSL News Time now is 8:09. Time for a look at traffic and weather together. Brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon, and we go back to Andy Farnsworth.
The Foothills stacking up a little bit right now. You come up on that 2300 East intersection and just before 1300 South. For those of you taking I-15, that slowing we were seeing appear around Murray and Midvale has cleared, and even Mountain View and Bangor are back to normal traffic through West Valley. Heather?
The earlier delays we had southbound I-15 through Ogden have cleared out. It was due to a crash that is gone, so there's no reason to slow anybody down. You're going to have good speeds all the way into downtown Salt Lake City. We are seeing quite a bit more traffic on some of the city streets like Washington Boulevard in Ogden, as well as SR 193 in Clearfield, but no other accidents reported right now. Eric?
Getting a little bit thicker trying to get over to the freeway in the north part of Utah County. We do have some rain reported out there too. For instance, 2100 north eastbound heading over to 2100 north heading over to 2300 west. That's a little bit slow. And a couple of the intersections slow heading west on Timpanogos Highway out of Highland and Cedar Hills. That's also going to be a little bit longer than usual. Choose a gorgeous new countertop for your kitchen or bath at the Bedrock Quartz Stone Sale. With selected choices at up to 50% off in July. Visit one of 7 showrooms today or bedrockquartz.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
How about a break from the triple digits today? We'll go to 95. Daytime high, afternoon sunshine, but thunderstorms rolling into the Wasatch Front into the evening. 73 overnight, ending showers. 94 tomorrow with a chance for afternoon storms. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Not bad out there right now. 79 degrees in Salt Lake City.
It's hard to even imagine how Utah will change, how Salt Lake will change in the 10 years between now and the next Olympic Games here. But we'll talk more about that with Debbie Dujanovic coming up next.
All right, stay with us streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio, Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Do you have a home equity line of credit? If you don't, boy, you ought to get one at Utah Community Credit Union. I didn't get one until like 2 years ago. I don't know why I waited so long, because having access to that money is it just gives me peace of mind. If something big goes wrong with the house, if I need a chunk of cash all of a sudden, I don't have to put it on a high interest rate credit card. I have access to it having that HELOC with UCCU.
Well, I don't know about you, but for us, we were surprised at how much equity we had in our house. And with the way the market is, you're kind of tied down in some cases. Here's a way for you to make improvements around your home by using the equity that already exists, and you can do it at a lower interest rate at UCCU and actually add to the value of your home. I mean, it sounds like a perfect idea.
It really is. So if you have a HELOC somewhere else, switch that over to UCCU, because we want to save you as much money as possible. You can pay off a high-interest credit card with that HELOC and pay a lower interest to UCCU.
To learn more, to start your application today, just visit uccu.com, or, of course, you can stop by any branch.
Utah Community Credit Union. Love where you bank.
Prices are slashed.
Hot deals at Dave's Bernina.
At their St. George and Provo locations.
Offers so good and they won't last long. Hot summer savings on the Bernina 790 Pro, Bernina 570 QE, 570E, and 770 QE with free embroidery software and more extras valued over $4,000 with purchase.
All machines are discounted.
Featuring 1.9% interest for 48 months on certain machines.
All new Berninas come with a 5-year warranty and free classes.
The Bernina L Series Surgers are specially priced that include free Surger packages valued over $1,000.
Hurry in for amazing bargains on previously loved machines. Dave's Bernina, 691 East St. George Boulevard and 2017 North 550 West in Provo.
And did you know that Magic is coming? The top-of-the-line, all-new Bernina 990. Come in for exciting special pre-order offers.
15 years ago, we were adding on to our home, and so I convinced Sean we should update the kitchen.
We did some research, and we decided to go with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Their reputation was phenomenal. To design, do the construction, and the finish work, what we wanted was what we got from start to finish. So fast forward 15 years, our family's changed. We've gotten bigger.
There just wasn't the space in the kitchen anymore. People were banging into each other.
We decided 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. Here's the problem. What are our solutions? Comparing working with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath 15 years ago, today, their ability to design what you want was the same.
Everything has been what I want.
The quality of 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, I think, is phenomenal. The countertops and the cabinets that they use are great. They were just good guys doing good work.
For more about your new kitchen or bath, visit 3daykitchen.com.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
KSL News Time, 8:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
we're hearing exclusively from a cafeteria worker who says she tried to help a 12-year-old boy in West Haven before police say he died from years of starvation and abuse. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the owner of the Utah Jazz is in Paris telling reporters Utah is becoming an elite place for sports.
Third, if you're making the drive today, let's check traffic and weather together.
I-15 speeds have been good this morning. We don't have any crashes. You might see some wet road conditions coming over Point of the Mountain, and I'm hearing about the rain kind of creeping up more towards South Jordan on the west side of the valley, but so far no big delays from any of that. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Morning clouds, afternoon sun, and evening thunderstorms. I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now it's 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Let's get our top national stories now with ABC News.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi reacting to President Biden's address to the nation. At a Democratic event in Washington, Pelosi praised Biden as a magnificent leader.
America was truly blessed, has been, continues to be blessed by the wisdom and the magnificent leadership of President Joe Biden. With love, okay. With love and gratitude, I salute President Biden for always believing in the possibilities of America.
During his Oval Office address, the president expressed gratitude for the voters who put him there.
My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years.
But, says ABC News Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl,
he was forced to make this decision. It was not a decision he wanted to make. You had no sense that he thinks that he couldn't make it, that he couldn't serve another 4 years, that he was too old. None of those doubts at all.
Donald Trump now focusing his attention on Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
With President Biden now out of the race, Donald Trump returned back to the campaign trail, ready to attack his new rival, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Now we have a new victim to defeat, Lion Kamala Harris.
Trump repeatedly mispronouncing Harris's name and zeroing in on her role in the administration. She was tasked with addressing the root causes of migration at the southern border.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will meet today with President Biden and Vice President Harris separately, and will meet with Donald Trump tomorrow in Florida. More than 60 lawmakers boycotted his speech before both houses of Congress on Wednesday. Stocks are picking up after yesterday's losses, the worst since 2022. The Commerce Department reporting that the nation's GDP accelerated at a strong 2.3% annual pace last quarter, beating economists' expectations. A 50-year tradition at Southwest Airlines is ending. Like all the other airlines, are now assigning seats instead of letting you pick your own. This is ABC News.
Amanda, you asked the question a minute ago, and it's a good one. What will Utah look like, and specifically downtown Salt Lake City look like?
It's going to be huge, Tim.
In 2034. Debbie's joining us now with Dave and Dujanovic coming up top of the hour.
Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Great to hear you still in Paris. So I'm looking at this new Kempsey Gardner Policy Institute report. It's reported by the Deseret News. And we've already said we want the Olympics. Like 80% have said we want to bring the Olympics back to Utah. But I'm not sure how you would respond if you were asked, would you want the population by 2034 to almost double over what it was in 2002? I'm not sure 80% of Utahns would be on board with that. But this is a fascinating report that takes a look into 2034 and what it'll look like. Our population will have grown compared to 2002 by almost right around 75%. We will be at, let's see, I'm trying to look for the number right here. We will have well over 4 million residents in this state. Wow. Which is up 75% from where we were in 2002. And that's not the only thing this report talks about. They also talk about the economic growth, and we're also going to look at new infrastructure as well. For example, yesterday when we were covering the Olympic announcement live from downtown, Amanda, like right where you were sitting, we took over that spot. We had President of the Senate, Stuart Adams, talk about doubling the speed of how fast Front Runner will go by the time 2034. He suggests it should be going 150 miles an hour.
What?
Yes. He told us that live on the air. So we're going to take a look into the future and how Salt Lake City and Utah will look by the time the Olympic Games arrive in 2034. It looks nothing like it looked like in 2002.
Wow.
Oh, wow. All right. Good questions. Fun conversation, too. Coming up with David Dujanovic, 9 o'clock, right until noon today here on KSL.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon, Andy.
Amanda, travel on I-15 at the speed limit despite some wet road conditions. I do see traffic a little slower on the east-west routes through South Jordan, trying to get over to I-15, but not bad, just a little bit slower than they've been all morning. And that might be because of the rain coming down. But looks good on Mountain View and Bangor up through West Valley towards 21st South. Heather?
No delays right now anywhere in Weber County. You may see a bit more cars than we did about an hour ago, but none of it really causing any issues. No accidents reported on city streets throughout Ogden, Layton, Clearfield area. Southbound I-15 has most of your traffic, but it is at speed between Ogden and Salt Lake, and that's less than 30 minutes. Eric?
We do have some eastbound delays over on I-80 going from the Kimball Junction exit to the Silver Creek area. That's where you would turn to go south on US 40 down to Heber City, and northbound from Heber up to Park City. That's looking good. I-15 in Utah County, we're moving at a normal rate of speed. This is the place, Heritage Park, the place to learn, explore, and enjoy Utah history. Perfect for service projects, team building, birthdays, weddings, reunions, and more. Plan today at thisistheplace.org. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine, but storms rumbling in for the evening. 94 on Friday, afternoon storms scattered in nature. Partly cloudy, 93 for your Saturday. How about 94 sunshine on Sunday? We keep the sunshine with high pressure building as we get into next week with highs in the upper 90s Monday through Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Still 79 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and the 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
I'm looking at those rain clouds down in the Bluffdale area, Tim. It's nice to see some wet roads and some rain falling, and maybe we'll get a little more throughout the day, Matt says, so we'll follow that. And we'll update the forecast, of course, throughout the day. You can check back in with Jeff Kaplan this afternoon on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. Up next, we'll get another look at money news and see where the markets are.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Let me tell you an amazing story. Last week, a customer came in. They were a creative director for an agency, and they were frustrated that their old, slow computer wasn't processing their files quick enough. He had a big project due and could not afford any delays. Well, we hooked him up with one of our new, powerful 2025 desktops for only $999, and he was able to complete his project with ease. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
Hey, Steve, have you noticed your utility bills? Mine have almost doubled.
Yeah, trust me and call Brad at Gillette Heating and Air Conditioning. He got me not just a better system, but a carrier for about half the price of the big HVAC companies. You know, these super high energy systems can save thousands on utilities, and Brad showed me how to get almost $5,000 in utility and government rebates.
You have their number?
385-GET-HEAT. I even heard that if you get a system before the end of the month, they'll throw in a free water heater.
385-GET-HEAT.
Yep.
Got it.
Or head to GilletteServices.com.
Time for a crucial conversation about your health and weight loss goals. Everyone wants fast results, but such results usually come with side effects. And such an approach is completely unsustainable. That's why I chose SOTA Weight Loss. It's SOTA, stands for state-of-the-art weight loss. It's swift, safe, and most important, sustainable. You know, with those fad diets and diet drugs, you have to ask the crucial question, is it safe? And what happens when you stop taking the drugs? Sadly, most people gain the weight back and a little bit more. SOTA is the real, lasting, natural solution to letting go of weight and belly fat with no drugs, no side effects, for real results. You know, I swiftly lost 37 pounds in 90 days, and I've sustained that exact weight for over 2.5 years. That's real, sustainable success. So do you want swift, safe, sustainable results? Go to SOTA Weight Loss, SOTAweightloss.com today. Again, SOTAweightloss.com.
Watching Utah's Money, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. The NBA signed an 11-year media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon Prime Video after declining Warner Brothers Discovery's offer of $1.8 billion per year. The media rights deals will bring the league about $76 billion over those 11 years.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that means there'll be no Shaq, no Charles, and the show that everybody loves if you're an NBA fan, because there's so many viral moments that come from it. They're not going to be on TNT. CrowdStrike is blaming a bug for the massive IT outage last week. It pushed bad data out to millions of computers, delaying flights, stopping digital payments, disrupting hospitals. CrowdStrike says the problem was centered around an undetected error in the update.
Well, yeah, it was undetected, or they would. That explanation just leaves me flat. All right, it's almost time for back-to-school shopping, and 70% of parents say it costs too much. A Wallet Hub survey found half of them say they expect to pay more for supplies this year than last year. Spending is expected to hit $38.8 billion.
All right, your money at this moment. The Dow wants some of the loss from yesterday back, and it's up 186 right now. That's closing in on 0.5%. The S&P is down another 0.2 with a loss of 11, and the Nasdaq, which took a pounding, what was it, down 650 or something yesterday, is off another 145 points, or more than 0.75%.
It's a decent drive along the Wasatch Front this morning. Some eastbound I-80 slowing in the Park City area, but really looking good. We'll check traffic and weather together coming up next.
Right now might just be the perfect time to upgrade your living space to one that has, well, a little more space. You've earned the equity in your home. It's now time to put it to good use. Whether it's opening up a cramped or dated floor plan, adding a little more luxury to your bath, or finally building the kitchen of your dreams, Golden West has a home equity line of credit for a low introductory rate of 5.55% APR fixed for 5 months. With a Golden West home equity credit line, you'll save money with no fees or closing costs. And Golden West makes accessing the equity in your home easy with a Visa Platinum Card. Start making the most of your equity today and make your plans a reality. Apply at any branch, online at gwcu.org, or on our mobile app. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 440574.
We'll take care of you.
In the dentist office, at the auto mechanic, or the restaurant lobby.
Just 2 of you today?
We do a lot of waiting, but of all the places we wait, I-15 may be the least enjoyable. Before you hit the road, check the road. Get traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, and leave the waiting elsewhere.
DMV number 432.
Mornings and afternoons on KSL News Radio.
Join KSL News Radio's Maria Chaleo Saturday from 8 to 11 at the Jones Paint and Glass grand opening of their new location, 1626 West, 800 South in Payson.
Time for a look at traffic and weather together here, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon. Here's Andy Farnsworth.
Tim, starting to see a little bit of slowing on I-215's east belt, going up from that 3900 south exit up to the 215 I-80 split at the mouth of Parley's Canyon, and a little bit of traffic backing on I-15 itself near 33rd South, even though they cleared the crash from the on-ramp at 33rd South. Heather?
We have some traffic, thick areas of traffic on some of the city streets in Weber and Davis County. You'll see that in Bountiful and especially in Ogden on both Harrison and Washington Boulevards. But the freeways have been at speed almost all of the morning. Right now, you're not going to have any delays on I-15, US 89 or Legacy, northbound or southbound, and I-84 through the mountains is a great drive. Eric? We're looking good if you are in Utah County as well. I-15 has most of your traffic from Payson all the way to the point of the mountain. You do have some congestion. It's pretty typical on 2100 North if you're coming out of Saratoga Springs or Eagle Mountain. A lot of that is as you approach either Redwood Road or I-15. Jordan Valley Water tells us water use is up by 10% compared to last year. Mow at max blade height to shade lawn roots and promote deeper growth so you can water less often. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
We've got rain in the forecast today, maybe even some thunderstorms, and a high of 95. Right now it's 81 downtown.
You're listening to Utah's Morning News with Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon
on KSL News Radio.
102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Bonsoir. Hello, good morning from Paris, France. I'm Tim Hughes, and our news time now is 8:30.
KSL's top story this hour.
We're hearing from a cafeteria worker who tried to help a 12-year-old boy who died after police say he was abused and starved for years.
KSL was first to get the story, and KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the latest details.
Jan Davis was working at Gavin Peterson's school 2 years ago where she said he would dig through the garbage to try and find food. She tells KSL TV she and another worker started paying for his lunch until she says Gavin's stepmom, Nicole Scott, found out.
She was really upset, and we were to stop paying for his school lunches.
Davis and other school workers reported what was going on to the Utah Division of Child and Family Services, but it's unclear how much they were able to do before Gavin died earlier this month.
The system is broken.
Gavin's stepmom, as well as his father and brother, are now being charged with child abuse homicide. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Also following a developing story this hour, a house and some sheds were damaged. 4 people are looking for a new place to stay after a fire in West Valley last night. West Valley Fire Battalion Chief Brandon Howard says the flames were about 20 to 30 feet high when they got there. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation.
A couple of people were injured while watching fireworks in a park in Layton last night. Fire Battalion Chief Jeremy Stells says one of the fireworks likely tipped over before shooting into the crowd.
There was 2 minor injuries, and I'm thinking at this point nobody's even going to be transported to the hospital.
The fireworks were legal and being lit in a designated zone.
KSL weather now with Matt Johnson, who says we are finally going to stay several degrees below that 100-digit mark. And Matt says it's also peak wildflower season in our mountains.
The high Uintas, Timpanogos Basin up at the higher tops, Skyline Drive, and even Albion Basin. So if you're going to go check out some of these wildflowers, doing some hiking and exploring, have that camera ready.
Today's high in Salt Lake City should be a pleasant 95 degrees with a chance of thunderstorms.
KSL's top national stories now. President Biden expressed his gratitude to the American people last night in an 11-minute Oval Office address. ABC's Washington Bureau Chief Rick Klein says the speech and the president's decision will help define his presidency.
He bought himself some goodwill, certainly in the treatment by history for what essentially is a selfless act. He could have done something that would have essentially been more selfish and said he's staying in despite everyone telling him to get out, and he chose to walk away. That is a powerful and rare moment in politics.
Klein says the president's close circle helped him decide it was time to step aside.
Thousands of people gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to Congress. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman was there.
It had started peacefully, thousands thronging the Capitol Hill area, demanding an end to the war in Gaza and Benjamin Netanyahu's arrest. Blocking their route to the Capitol, where Netanyahu was speaking, were miles of barricades backed by thousands of officers, including SWAT teams. The march stalling at Union Station, where protesters began pulling American flags down from the flagpoles. Officers moved in and were swarmed by the crowd.
At least 9 people were arrested.
First look traffic now on your Thursday morning, and here is Andy Farnsworth.
Amanda, traffic a little slow going up 215's east side near the mouth of Parley's Canyon. We still have I-80 backups in the right lane between Kimball Junction and Highway 40. And I-15 bogs down just a little bit between 33rd South and I-80 at this moment. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Delta says they'll be reimbursing passengers who had to book flights with other airlines because of canceled flights related to Friday's worldwide computer outage. The airline also says all flights should be back to normal at some point today.
More than 10,000 domestic flights were delayed or canceled Tuesday, according to FlightAware.com, a flight tracking website. At Salt Lake City International Airport, about 1/4 of arrivals and departures were affected. Yesterday, only a handful of flights were canceled and less than 150 flights were delayed. Airport spokeswoman Nancy Vollmer.
They are recovering, and I can't speak for any airline in particular, but just looking at the statistics for today, it's much better than it was.
Vollmer adds the Salt Lake Airport continues to rank among the best in the country for having flights on time.
Provo City held a big party last night to celebrate Utah being officially announced as the host of the 2034 Winter Games. KSL TV's Andrew Adams was there at the Peaks Ice Arena, which was an Olympic venue in 2002.
What excites everyone is the constant.
It really invokes that spirit of coming together.
That Olympic spirit. that lights the fire within.
You're part of something. It's a movement that's making a difference.
The general feeling in the venue was excitement and readiness to host the games again.
Here's another Utah Olympic connection. A new facility in South Jordan will be the training ground for BMX freestyle athletes, including those participating here in Paris. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson has the story.
BMX freestyle became an Olympic sport in 2020, and since then it's been surging in popularity. Seeing the need for a place that these athletes could seriously practice, USA Cycling partnered with a number of local organizations to construct this state-of-the-art training facility in South Jordan. Organizers say there's nothing else like it in the U.S. when it comes to size and variety of obstacles for the athletes.
The training facility has been complete, we're told, since March and was kept under wraps while Team USA's Paris Olympians were training. But now the company that runs the facility says it'll be used to develop future Olympians and even host some national events.
We do have some slowing northbound on the 215 East Belt heading up to I-80 and Foothill Drive. We'll take a look at it. Traffic and weather together coming up next.
Reliability, steadiness, trusted voices.
I'll listen to KSL in the morning. I use it to find my weather, to find my traffic. When you ask me what news is, I think of KSL first.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
We have some exciting news to announce.
Master Electrical Service has joined Mountain Home Services.
And I can speak from experience, Deb. Mountain Home Services installed my furnace years ago, and it's been amazing.
And we know Master Electrical Service has been your trusted source for all your electrical needs, like your EV chargers, your generators, and recessed lighting.
But now that they've joined Mountain Home Services, they can help you with your HVAC, your heating and air, as well as your plumbing.
And it comes with that upfront pricing guarantee. I love the upfront pricing guarantee because it means no hidden fees.
100% satisfaction guarantee as well.
Master Electrical Service has been the name you trust since 1954.
They're the company we trust, and so can you.
Check them out now at mountainhomeutah.com.
That's mountainhomeutah.com, or give them a call at 801-543-2222. So easy to remember, 801-543-2222.
Coping-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Managing today's uncertainty can be overwhelming. We crave security, and it's uncomfortable when we sense a lack of control over our lives. Develop a routine for a more balanced lifestyle with healthy habits and fun. Focus on what you can control, even if it's little things, like a before-bedtime ritual.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
We were talking just a second ago about BMX freestyle competition here in Paris, Amanda, and I noticed today, and it's getting a lot of attention, that break dancing, and they just call it breaking, is going to be also making its debut here in Paris.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to be an Olympic sport. I guess I don't know enough about it.
All of this, including the BMX, where we talked about the facility there in South Jordan, all of this is an effort by the IOC to try and garner younger audiences and get some interest from the kids. We'll see if breaking does that for them here, but there's going to be 16 girls, 16 boys that are competing, so that's kind of fun to watch. I think the first competition's coming up on August 9th.
Right now, 8:39, traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And back over to you, Andy.
Amanda, traffic's slow in a couple spots on I-15. You've got some at 53rd and 33rd South, 215's East Belt, slow in the right lane before the turn into Parley's Canyon. And now we've got a little bit of a southbound delay on the freeway going over Point of the Mountain. It might just be due to wet roads. I don't see a crash. At least I don't see one. Heather?
Haven't seen any rain falling in Weber or Davis County. That doesn't mean it's not happening. It just doesn't seem to be wetting down any roads at the moment. And traffic is at freeway speeds on I-15 Legacy Parkway, the West Side Belt. City streets are in pretty good shape. The earlier congestion we had on Washington Boulevard in Ogden has cleared out. Eric.
Heading out to the mountains, I-80 looks good through Parley's Canyon, but there is slowing past the Kimball Junction exit, mostly in that right lane as you head over towards Silver Creek to go south on US 40. Out of Tooele County, SR 36 looking good heading north up to I-80. And I-15 Utah County, not seeing any delays northbound or southbound. Thinking of a kitchen remodel? Durden's matches every competitor price, and you get rebates on single appliances or whole kitchen appliance packages. Durden's also offers next-day delivery on 5th South and Bountiful or DurdensAppliance.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Wednesday's official high tied a record at 105. Today, 10 degrees cooler at 95, afternoon sunshine, and a chance for evening thunderstorms. Overnight, 73. We'll go to 94 tomorrow with a chance for afternoon storms. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now in Salt Lake City, it is 81 degrees, 84, just a few degrees warmer here at, what time is it? Almost 5 p.m. in the evening here in Paris, France.
Dinner time.
It is dinner time.
We'll be talking in a moment with Kira Hoffelmeyer, who is there with you in Paris. And Kira's going to tell us more about this legacy organization that's being created to focus on young athletes. I want to hear about that next.
Yeah, she's been out with them all day, so that'll be fun. Coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
100, 200, 300.
What you're hearing is a special offer being prepared just for you.
800, 900, 1000.
And it's from Brighton Bank. So let me explain. For a limited time, Brighton Bank's Cash Reward Extravaganza is offering up to $2,000 in cash rewards on qualifying deposits. So make a qualifying deposit at Brighton Bank and receive a cash reward. Build your financial future and receive up to $2,000 in cash rewards with a qualifying deposit at Brighton Bank. Reach your financial goals quicker with Brighton Bank. Well, you get the idea. With the Cash Reward Extravaganza, Brighton Bank continues a tradition of developing relationships and building communities for over 45 years.
1,800, 1,900, 2,000.
What kind of Cash Reward Extravaganza will you qualify for? Learn more online at BrightonBank.com. BrightonBank.com. Brighton Bank is FDIC insured. Some terms and conditions may apply. Program ends July 31st. Get details from your Brighton Bank professional.
She wants a diamond, and you want to give her one. Sierra West Jewelers carries beautiful laboratory-grown diamonds with 90 pointers starting at only $499, 1 carat starting at only $789, and 2 carats start at $1,698. If it's fine jewelry you want, find it at Sierra West Jewelers, across from the malls in Sandy, Orem, and Murray, or at SierraWestJewelers.com.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson. Our goal every day on Inside Sources is to help you divide the rage from the reason, elevate the conversation, connect the dots, and make the news make sense in your world. We have conversations with great thinkers, with great leaders, and great people who are just out there making a difference in the world. Now, we do talk about politics, but only so we can discuss society and culture. And then we explore society and culture so we can discuss principles and the people in America and the state of Utah who actually live them and apply them every day. We bring the best and brightest minds to the state of Utah, and we love to take the Utah model and send it out to our nation's capital and beyond. Every day on Inside Sources, you'll be part of that conversation. To help you understand things in a different way, we'll get you to think again about what you think you know, but most important, we're going to help you have confidence to have crucial conversations in your community and in your own home.
Join Inside Sources with Boyd Matheson, 1 to 3 on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time now is 8:45. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
wildfires flared up across Utah yesterday, but hopefully we won't see any more triple-digit days along the Wasatch Front for the rest of the week. I'm KSL News Radio's Michael Kmet.
Second, 4 people are looking for a new place to stay after a house fire in West Valley overnight.
Third, it's traffic and weather together.
Some southbound slowing at Point of the Mountain on I-15 over some wet roads. Some northbound slowing through South Salt Lake, prearing on I-15. And we got some right lane delays as you try to head from 215 into Parley's Canyon at I-80. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cooler today with a high of 95, but evening storms possible. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, let me see. It is 81 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
And time to check in with ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Uvalde, Texas police officer Adrian Gonzalez has pleaded not guilty to charges stemming from the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. Gonzalez is one of nearly 400 law enforcement personnel who responded to the scene but waited more than an hour to confront the shooter. He's accused of abandoning and failing to protect the children who were killed and wounded. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi praising President Biden's speech to the nation from the Oval Office. She told an event for Democratic women today.
Last night, we saw President Joe Biden talk about his legacy, which frankly is our legacy, too. The House Democrats passed those occasionally bipartisan, hopefully more so in the future.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visiting the White House today. It'll be his first visit there since before Donald Trump left office in 2020. Nation's economy growing last quarter at a strong 2.8% rate, stronger than most economists thought. This is ABC News.
Listen to this. 500 athletes, 36 countries, 64 different youth groups are coming together to form Sport dans la Ville, a legacy organization to exchange ideas and best practices for young athletes.
KSL News Radio's Kira Hoffelmeyer is there with you in Paris. I can't wait to hear more about this, Kira.
Yeah, so today there was a celebration at a Paris amusement park, which I am not going to say the name of because I'll just murder it. But it's fun that there's an amusement park in the middle of Paris, and there were 500 kids there, and a good chunk of the Salt Lake City delegation was there. Fraser Bullock signed a 10-year partnership to be a part of this program, and Catherine Rainey Norman, the chair of Utah's Olympic Committee, told me that they look forward to being a part of this partnership. They'll exchange students, I keep calling them students, but young athletes, and they'll be a part of this program to develop each other in sports, all kinds of sports, not just Winter Olympics as well.
I know that 6 of these, I think, were Utahns. Do you know their ages or age range?
I don't. They were, we talked to a couple of them before. Keisha Love is the bobsledder from Utah. We also talked to a figure skater. So it's the same ones that came with the Olympic delegation. So we're, ranging anywhere from teenager to young adulthood.
What kind of sports are they interested in, Kira, these young people? Is it all sports, or do they focus on some of the newer sports? Like Tim was just telling me about breakdancing being added to the games this year.
I didn't get a chance to talk to any breakdancers if they were there. I talked to a lot of soccer players, a figure skater, a bobsledder, a tennis player. So, they span all kinds of sports and all different seasons of them. But I didn't talk to any of your atypical ones like breakdancing or skateboarding. I didn't manage to catch anyone from there.
Huh.
I'm just watching your social post, and I see lots of nations' flags. I see a small almost marching band that's making its way through. This looked like it was a fun morning for you.
Oh my gosh, it was a blast. The marching band is part of the amusement park. I didn't know that till afterwards because I saw them then playing again as I walked around the park. But it was just a blast. There was a big dance party. There was a flash mob. I saw Lindsey Vonn dancing at one point too. This dance routine that I am just not even familiar with. And it was a good time. And then, all of a sudden the kids were gone, and I caught a couple of them on the carousel and, didn't see them again. They were having too much fun in this 19-acre amusement park.
Kira, I really appreciate your interview with Ryan Smith that we shared with the audience earlier this morning. That was so interesting.
It was fascinating, and it was a surprise. None of us knew that he was coming. I turned to some of our colleagues from KSL TV and Deseret News that are here with us, and I said, "Did you guys know he was coming?" And they said no. So, it was a real pleasure to see him. He gave out some swag. They gave out kind of those drawstring backpacks with the Salt Lake City 2030 temporary logo on it, along with they had their choice of a Utah Jazz shirt or a Utah Hockey Club shirt. So kind of cool. He's trying to make bridges, across the world and not just across downtown Salt Lake.
Truth is, Kara loves hanging with the kids because she can look at them eye to eye because she's tiny too.
Yeah, when I got caught in that mosh pit, I was not afraid.
Let me just tell you this: Kara can be my travel partner anytime. She has an adventurous spirit, and in her young life, she has been in lots of places around the world, and she can check Paris off now as well. That is our Kara Hoffelmeyer. Just great stuff live from Paris. All right, time for us to get a look at how the drive is shaping up. Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents a gallon, and Andy Farnsworth is back in the traffic center.
And right now, I-15 still got some slow stretch between about 53rd and 33rd south. The southbound slowing we were seeing over Point of the Mountain has thinned a little bit, although the roads are still pretty wet at the Point of the Mountain on both sides of the freeway. And we've still got right lane delays from 3300 south to the I-80 turnoff in Parley's Canyon. Heather?
Well, city streets in Weber and Davis counties appear to have most of the traffic right now, but that's mostly when lights turn red and you just see a little bit of backup at some of the larger intersections. We don't have any delays on I-15 or Legacy Parkway. A smidgen of congestion is popping up now on US 89, both directions, right around Harrison Boulevard in South Ogden, but that's the only issue. Eric?
We've still got some wet roads out in Eagle Mountain if you're in the north part of Utah County this morning. Making your way over to the freeway, not too much of an issue on Pioneer Crossing or Lehigh's Main Street, but 2100 north is pretty slow from Redwood Road over to 2300 west. I-15 throughout Utah County, that's looking good. For a limited time, enjoy no payments for the first 90 days when you finance your new vehicle with America First Credit Union. Head to americafirst.com to apply today. Equal opportunity lender. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, 95 today with afternoon sunshine. By evening, we've got thunderstorms rolling on in. 94 for your Friday afternoon scattered thunderstorms. We'll go partly cloudy, 93 for a high on Saturday. That looks delightful. 94 sunny skies on Sunday. We'll go back to 97 sunny skies on Monday. Blue skies prevail on Tuesday, 97. Before you know it, we're back to 98 on Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Thank you to our weather watchers who let us know about that rain in the south part of the valley. Right now, it's 81 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We'll talk more about this tomorrow, but I just ran across these numbers of what's expected as far as the crowd goes for opening ceremonies tomorrow night. They initially planned, if you can believe it, for 600,000 spectators.
Oh, wow.
Now, remember, this is the first time it's ever going to take place outside of a stadium, and they're going to do it along the Seine River. The ceremony now will accommodate around 300,000. Roughly 100,000 spectators have paid tickets. They'll sit in the lower docks along the Seine, and another 220,000 will have free access by invitation to sit on the upper decks. But we're all, I think, a little anxious to see how they pull this off. And it'll be happening tomorrow around 11:30 in the morning Utah time. I'm sure NBC will delay it into prime time tomorrow night.
Look forward to seeing that, Tim. If I could tell you how to save hundreds of dollars a month on your grocery bill, wouldn't you want to know how to do that? I literally save hundreds of dollars every month on my groceries because I shop first at NPS. I stop at the one in Salt Lake on my way home to shop and see what I can save on, because I'm saving 20 to 70% every time I shop there.
Yeah, groceries were your gateway drug into
They
the
were.
NPS. Because once you get in and start saving at groceries, you look on the other side of the store in Salt Lake City and you say, ooh, there's clothes, there's home decor, there's electronics. You go across the street in Salt Lake and, oh, there's hardware and tools and arts and crafts. And my goodness, you never know what you're going to find. But I'll tell you what you do know you're going to find every day, and that is that saving of 20 to 70% off. But that's only the beginning, because then they want to create space in their shelves, so because they know they've got another shipment of stuff coming the next day, and they mark it down even more.
You know what I even found last time I was there, Tim? I was just wandering around looking at different things. They have wedding dresses that are, and I thought, oh my gosh, a young woman could actually afford a magnificent gown that normally would be, I don't know, $8,000, $10,000. That's marked way down at NPS.
And they are all brand new and name brand when we're talking merchandise here. So look them up. NPS, 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake, 1 in Layton, 1 in Orem.
Blast off for the birthday bash of the century at Craters of the Moon. There's nothing like it on Earth. Join the festivities beginning in May. Learn more at visitidaho.org.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 385-766-1987. That's 385-766-1987. 385-766-1987.
Let's take one last look at Utah's money this morning, brought to you by Trajan Wealth, your trusted local fiduciary advisors, TrajanWealth.com. More parents are putting more money forward during the summer for childcare. The Federal Reserve says families now spend 1/5 of their income on childcare, an average of $800 a month.
After a rough day yesterday, the markets are up right now. The Dow's up 114. That's 0.3%. We're at 39,968. S&P's up 9. That's about 0.2%. The Nasdaq right now up a fraction, up 9 points, which is less than 0.1%.
We'll check traffic and weather together coming up.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour